Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment podcast that's hosted by a Giant Mess. That's me, the real cinch, Neal Lynch. I'm a former fourth-string college quarterback and mediocre middle relief pitcher with a Bachelor of Arts degree in film and media studies. Ooh, baby. That is a career path that is paved with gold, my friend. Now I'm a single dad who loves to talk Giants football, Mets baseball, movies, TV, and comedy. On today's episode, we're going to be recapping the biggest stories from my personal life, but also the biggest searches, most popular searches, trending searches, biggest stories from the interwebs. February 2025. Shortest month of the year, and I got to tell you, we got to do something about it. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Luca Doncic trade, the 2025 Royal Rumble, game day food for the Super Bowl. That includes Super Bowl cocktail recipes, Super Bowl dips, Super Bowl appetizers. My daughter asked me if aliens are real. So you guys stay tuned to find out the answer to that. We went to Disney on Ice again. This is the second year in a row we've gone to Disney on Ice, so I'll recap that. I am now fully back in on video games. I have fully regressed to being an 11-year-old again, and it's gotta tell you, it's pretty freeing. We'll also take a look at Valentine's Day date ideas, SNL 50, the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, President's Day weekend, and then the Trader Joe's incident that I teased in the last episode. We'll finally get down to the nitty-gritty details on what went down at good old Trader Jose's, not Jorge's. So without further ado, let's get us started. All right, so February kicks off with a massive trade, probably the biggest trade in National Basketball Association history, possibly, maybe. A lot of people are saying the Mavericks got swindled, and the Lakers are the benefactor of the Mavericks being donezo with old Luca. With speculation, rumors that I guess the front office administration thought he was too chubby. And as a fellow chubby, I like to say that we have value, we have worth. I know it doesn't look like it, and I know it's repulsive and disgusting when we're on the beach or at a pool or in a sauna, but we have value and we have worth. And it's wild to think that, that video, that clip of Doncic celebrating a win, big win in the playoffs last year with the Mavericks, and just enjoying a beer, celebrating, not going nuts, just he has a beer in his hand. He's not shotgunning it. He's not chugging it. He's just has it in his hand. And someone from the front office comes over and takes it away from him. And he's just like, well, okay. Just like, what? I can't. We got to celebrate the wins, right? Come on now. So, good for him to get up out of Dallas, dude. Dallas is in a tailspin. I guess they've had a lot of injuries. I have not watched a single second of NBA action this year, which is a record. And even on top of that, usually I watch more college basketball than I do pro basketball, and I have literally not watched, and this is not an exaggeration, a single frame of college basketball this season. I don't know why. I don't know how. I just, I don't know. Usually I'll have it on in the background as I'm doing some other stuff, doing some work, whatever, but just no dice this year for whatever reason, just not into it. And, I think I've seen and heard that that ratings are down for the NBA, that people are not watching. I mean, they're trying to do stuff in season. They're trying to do stuff to the All-Star game to get people to watch, but it all comes back to maybe it's the timing and the season being too long, which we've been harping on for years now. Does an NBA regular season really need to be 82 games? Does the NHL season need to be 80 some odd games? I mean, they're when basketball and hockey start is right when football is getting super interesting and the playoff hunt starts to form. And so I think the majority of America is really honed in and focused in on that. So why not, push it to a January start date, have it go to Does it need to go to June when baseball is really the focus? I don't know. Especially, you look at like what a lot of the NBA stars do is just like they just rest for like the majority of the games. It's like what I forget what they call it, but it's just like you're healthy and you just don't want to play. You want to save yourself for the postseason if you make the postseason. Got it. So I've been out on the NBA for a while now, but I did tune in for that trade because it was so massive. And it now looks like the Lakers are the favorites or might be the favorites. I don't know. Talking out my butt cheeks right now, my blowhole downstairs. But I did watch the press conference, and it's like Doncic's the kind of guy where he's one of those superstars who doesn't like being a superstar. He wants to be the best basketball player. He doesn't want to be the best personality with the media. It's like, when you find someone that is at the top of their game and both, in their profession, but also with the press and the media and the public eye, then, you're going to rake in, your earning potential goes tenfold. Right. But you look at like, there have been plenty of instances of people that just want to play and be really good and be remembered for being the best player, not who's the best on the mic or when the camera's on. So it was funny, man. It's like he just didn't look like he wanted to be there, and he's answering questions and he's just like, yeah, I'm super excited to be here. And it's just, I'm just excited to play with LeBron and, ready to get started. And the press is like, you are killing us. This is a massive story and you're treating it like you went to Starbucks. Okay. So, how popular is basketball right now? I mean, like, typically I'm recording this, March 18th, 2025. And March Madness is about to start. And I don't know if it's just like my algorithm or whatever, but it's not top of mind for me. And by this time, like St. Patrick's Day is usually the time when shit's cranking up. It's usually like first round of games and the madness has begun. You're having upsets left and right. And it's just game after game after game. And for whatever reason, they're starting a little bit later this year. And I think it's ultimately going to hurt them. I don't know why I have that feeling, but like normally I get hit up from all sides, from all left and right, up and down, inside and out. From people being like, join my league, join my group, sign up for a bracket. There's been like one person who does a mass email. So it's very odd that I don't have a lot of people reaching out. It just doesn't feel the same this year for whatever reason. I don't know. I just feel like I'm on the fringe. I'm on the outside looking in. And it feels weird because it's usually such an exciting part of the year. So it's what makes March so great. And to have that combined with March Madness, so good. So when they coincide, my God, explosivo. But in terms of the Doncic trade, to show you how popular football is more so than basketball, it's like this made major waves that crossed sports, right? It got the attention of the football community, and that's why I'm talking about it, is because I'm a football guy. And all you saw was like all these like NFL beat reporters and insiders and experts and pundits and talking heads and personalities, blah, 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 fielding questions from people being like, what's this trade mean in football terms? Like, who Doncic is the equivalent of who? And the Mavs got who in return in football terms. So, but it caught my attention. Now, is it enough to get me to watch again? Nah, not really. No, I think my viewership and my interest in the NBA peaked in the 90s, and then Mouse at the Palace, and then that's about it. I can't I think maybe LeBron's first couple years where it was like he was very young and he was getting into the playoffs, but he couldn't get past that obstacle, get over that hurdle. And then he finally won with Cleveland. And then I maybe kind of watched the emergence of the Thunder was interesting to watch. And even the beginning of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. But since then, it's just been like, there was Linsanity for a hot moment that caught my eye, caught my attention, got some buzz. And the Knicks, I follow a lot of Giants fans, Mets fans that are Knicks fans. And, there's always been a lot of hope for the Knicks, and they're doing well. But it's like, I don't know, I fell off the bandwagon. So that's the Luca Doncic trade. We move on to the Royal Rumble. Yeah, the freaking Royal Rumble. I mentioned the intro. This is, you want to talk existential crisis, midlife crisis. I am in the core, the nucleus. I am in the midst, the dead center middle of a midlife crisis, because I have fully regressed to being like an 11, 12, 13-year-old again, where it's just like, all right, well, this is, okay. I'm not going out to the bars. I'm not drinking. I mean, I'm drinking. I'm just not going out to the bars. And so I every once in a while, it just comes in waves. I'll get back into like pro wrestling. I'll get back in the WWE. Something will catch my eye. Like this time, I think it was John Cena making the announcement that he's doing a farewell tour and he's going to retire. So I was like, oh, so this seems like a pretty major storyline, and maybe I need to do a little catching up on wrestling. So I did, catch up leading up to the Rumble, and then I was like, all right, I'll just throw it on while I do some work. And it's still pretty awesome. I don't know that I'm not the kind of fan that could really tune into every show every week. Like, obviously Raw in the 90s and Nitro in the 90s, like, that was must watch every week. But I don't have it in me to watch it every week. But I do for the big shows. I have tried to tune in, or at least it has my interest now. And mostly because I kind of fell off the wagon there too. But then I keep seeing like Cody Rhodes pop up in my feed on podcasts that I follow. And I was just like, wow, this is a guy that he's been around forever. And he's gone through, like, he had the Stardust phase and all these other phases and gimmicks or attempts to try and, break through and get to the top, and it never happened. And then finally, for whatever reason, and maybe I keep seeing his documentary pop up in terms of recommendations, and I haven't watched it yet, but I was like, let's just see what this is all about. And then I watched his match with Seth freaking Rollins at, I don't know if it was Elimination Chamber 2 years ago. It was in 2023, something like that, where he had, Cody Rhodes had done something to his bicep and his pectoral. I think he tore his pectoral. And so his whole right titty was deep purple, and it went, and this is real. I mean, I know, it's hard. Sometimes it can be, that's when pro wrestling is at its best, when you don't know if it's real or fake. This is real. I mean, he tore his pec and he decided to still wrestle against Rollins. And you figured, how the hell is he going to pull this off? Like, he can't even, like, look at that thing. It's big, swollen purple. It ran from his chest all the way across his shoulder, down like halfway down his arm. Like his bicep is all swollen. And it must hurt like such a bitch to just push on it, much less getting smacked and slammed and poked and prodded the whole match. So, but they kept on, Michael Cole and the announcers kept on reiterating, like, it's completely torn. He's not doing any further damage to it. They made sure to note that like every 5 minutes they do a check-in, like just a reminder, he's not doing any further damage to his body. Please don't sue us. So yeah, but that was an incredible match. And that, for me, seeing that match, I was like, all right, I'm in. Like, I'm down with Cody Rhodes. I get it, you know, anyone that can go to that length to prove himself. And the fact that they were able to pull off a match, an entertaining match with him, you know, in all reality, if this was a real situation, right, it's like, it's no contest. Like Seth Rollins would have destroyed him. But the fact that they were able to work together and choreograph this match so that it didn't come across as like Rollins is going easy on him and overselling. Like it was, whoa, okay, this is engrossing. They've got me. They've managed to pull off a show that I guess suspends your disbelief, or it makes you you're not thinking about, oh, or he's going easy on them, or they could go harder. It's like, no, this looks like, you know, they're really they're giving it their all. So that's when I was in. And then so I watched the 2025 Royal Rumble, and in addition, I think I watched all the Royal Rumbles leading up to it, because I was like, maybe I watched the full show from this year first, and then I went back and watched. I don't think I watched all of the matches from every Royal Rumble, but I would just watch the Royal Rumble. Did I watch every? Maybe I did. I had a lot of time on my hands in February. So, I watched the 2023 Rumble, basically the best Rumbles, 2023, 2019, 2017, 2015, and 2012 were the Rumbles that I watched. And so if you watch the 2025 Rumble, Jey Uso won. So he is going to main event WrestleMania. That's like the whole thing. And wait, was Elimination Chamber in February? Oh no, I think it was in March. Yeah, it was the beginning of March. So I'll we'll get to that in the March recap. But yeah, I really like what they did at Elimination Chamber. Well, I guess I could talk about it now. Fuck it, dude. Fuck it. John Cena finally turned heel. Officially, voluntarily turned heel at Elimination Chamber. Something that people have been asking for and demanding and wanting and requesting for years, kid. I want to say at least a decade or more, 15 years. I mean, he's been in the WWE since 2005. I want to say, was it 2002 or 2005? One of the two. And he's always been presented as a babyface or a good guy, the protagonist. And it got to the point where people got upset and just started booing him. It was a very interesting time in the WWE, where it's like, you know, I grew up 80s kid, Hulk Hogan was the man, and, you know, 90s Attitude Era was like, you know, like Stone Cold Steve Austin was the guy that people loved because he was a badass and he didn't care, and he went against the rules and he was a rebel and all that. But then you had like fans actively rejecting and rebuking what was being presented and fed to them in terms of, okay, we're presenting this person as the babyface, we're presenting this person as the heel, and then the heel is getting cheered and the babyface is getting booed. And you can imagine, I can just imagine like, you think that might, I don't know how Vince McMahon would react to that. But I think it would be like, at first he'd be like, whoa, what's going on? You know, this is not what I wanted. But at the same time, he's probably just happy that he's getting a reaction. Like, because the worst thing that can happen is you get zero reaction. Speaking from experience, it's like, I would much rather get booed, hissed, and thrown vegetation than crickets, dude. It's the worst. So, but yeah, Cena finally done turned heel, And that was a moment. I mean, I'm so old, and, I feel like I've seen it all, but there's still, that's why I keep coming back to wrestling, is because they still have these amazing moments that, that you either have never seen before, never thought you would see, or that they would never pull off, or you didn't see coming. And it was just like, part of me, like, I didn't pick up on it until, well, I don't know. I'm not going to be the guy that, in retrospect or in hindsight saying like, oh, I predicted this, because I didn't. But there was a small part of me that was like, so Cena just announces this farewell tour, this retirement tour, and it's just going to be standard Cena for every match. And like, obviously he's going to put on a good show, but like, what's going to take it to the next level? Like, he's just going to do the standard Cena shit. And then I'm looking at him and I'm like, something, I don't know. There was just something like in the back of my head that was just like, maybe something else is going on here. And then when, at the end of the Elimination Chamber, where it's Cena win? Yeah, Cena won. Mm-hmm. And then Cody Rhodes comes out with The Rock, and, that whole, I haven't been following that storyline, but like, apparently The Rock wants Cody Rhodes' soul. It's like, okay, wait, so are you the Undertaker now? What's happening? But it was like, obviously, it's like, I don't want your belt. I don't want this. I don't want that. I want your soul, or something like that. So basically, in order for Cody Rhodes to take the next step, that like The Rock did, or Hogan, or Austin, or even Cena, that's basically what I think he's presenting to him, is like, if you want to reach our level, our status, you need to sell your soul to me, or something like that, like selling your soul to the devil type narrative. So Cody Rhodes has an amazing response where he's like, I don't have a soul. I already gave my soul to the fans in WWE. And I thought that was a pretty good response. But then he just said, go fuck yourself. And I was just like, whoa. Oh, okay. Like, we're no longer the WWE that's like aimed at children, because it went from, I think there was the Attitude Era got like bananas and bonkers. And so like, that's when I think they kind of took a step back, and they're like, all right, we need to be more family friendly so that we can get advertisers and sponsors and have that supplemental income, that revenue that can come with, that can be, a nice padding for us in terms of P&Ls and EBITDA and all that crap. So they really, it was gone, was all the stuff from the Attitude Era. Like, there was just nothing that was risque or whatever. So, to hear him say that, it was just like, whoa. I mean, I don't think I can't remember the last time I heard an F-bomb on, like, an intentional F-bomb during a WWE program. It must been like years, decades. So it was fun. I mean, it was, it's just like, what makes the shows for me, and well, getting back to Cody Rhodes and Cena turning heel, when The Rock's standing there and he gives the throat slash, and it was just like, oh my God, they're really doing it. So, and on top of, Rhodes dropping an F-bomb, they double down and they go all out, and they have Heenan, Heenan, the brain. They have Cena go heel. And for whatever reason, who the hell was there? Travis Scott, rapper. He was just hanging out, and then he comes and he just cracks Cody Rhodes on the side of the face for real, and apparently bursts his eardrum and fractures his eye socket or something like that. I was like, oh shit. And it didn't look like he hit him that hard in the moment. But I remember watching and being like, why the hell is Travis Scott here? Why is he getting involved? Like, does he have an album coming out? This feels like such a like shameless plug type thing, promo for something that he must be doing that's coming out. And I remember I saw Cena kind of go, he made a move like he's supposed to be heel at this point, right? Bad guy. He's on Travis Scott's side. Travis Scott's on his side, on the Rock side, on the bad side, the evil side. And I saw Cena kind of make a gesture after that happened, maybe before, I'm not sure, where it was just like, he was almost like, hey, whoa. Some people said that they didn't see anything, that he was a pro and he didn't react. But I think he did make a subtle attempt to be like, whoa, dude, chill the fuck out. This is sports entertainment, is not actual hand-to-hand physical combat. So I wonder if I wonder if they tell them, like, so like people who are not that well versed and have not actually done it before. I wonder if they tell these celebrities and whatnot, like, hey, a lot of this is staged. We try to make it look real, but it isn't, like, so don't go overboard. Or if they're just like, well, he probably knows. He knows. Because I just was watching Good Morning Football and Kyle Brandt was talking about the sports event that he looks forward to the most other than the Super Bowl, and it was WrestleMania. And Derwin James, the safety for the Chargers, was on as a guest, and he was like, yeah, I went to a WrestleMania. It was the one in Orlando. And Kyle Brandt immediately was like, oh, no. Derwin James goes, it's the one where Floyd Mayweather fought or wrestled, was in a match with the Big Show. So you can imagine, like, Floyd Mayweather, super fast hands, but he's like 5 foot, whatever, 5 foot and some change. Big Show is over 7 foot. So hilarious matchup. And Kyle Brandt was saying, yeah, that's when Floyd Mayweather punched the Show in the face and broke his nose. It's like, whew, if I'm a wrestler, dude, and some like non-wrestler comes in and like actually attacks me and hits me, I'm going ape on that person. I'm going full ham tornado on their ace. So I don't know what ended up happening between the Big Show and Floyd Mayweather. That would be interesting to know, like, the fallout, the aftermath of that. The rumor is that Travis Scott is or has been practicing and rehearsing to be a wrestler and to actually wrestle in a match. And at this point, it's like, I wonder if his people are like, maybe don't do that now. Maybe don't get in a ring with these guys where you just burst his eardrum and fucked up his face for real. Like, maybe not, because there have been plenty of stories, and I love these stories, like these candid interviews with wrestlers that, looking back on their career, or who are or finally get to reveal like the real reality of what happened behind the scenes with a match or whatever, a botch, or, you know, when they went kayfabe, or, you know, anything like that. I love stories like that. And there are plenty of times where it's like, I've heard from multiple legends, superstars, that if you are either a young wrestler or up and coming wrestler who you are maybe a little too arrogant and you're flying a little too close to the sun, or you get a little too stiff, they call it stiff in the ring, where it's like you're kind of going a little too hard there, bud. Like, you're going to get someone hurt. The purpose is to not actually hurt someone in the wrestling ring. The purpose is to put on a good show. Like, so don't be a professional and don't get anyone hurt, yourself included. That's the main message there. But a lot of guys that are young and juiced up, literally, they might go too hard or think too highly of themselves. And so the veteran, like Andre the Giant, was known for this, where they'd put you to the test in the ring, in terms of, like, you know, if something is supposed to go a certain way, they would go 100% instead of they should go like 25% or 30%. You know, they'll go like 110%. Like, they'll give you a really hard drop kick or a really hard clothesline where it's like, whoa, or they'll put you in a sleeper hold for real and put you to sleep. Or in Andre the Giant's case, he would either just legitimately sit on you, all 500 plus pounds on your chest, and almost crush your chest, cave your chest in, or he'd put his foot against your throat and just choke you out that way for real. Like, so, take a shoulder too hard. There are plenty of ways that they mentioned how they can do it. But dude, if you're Travis Scott, and you now decide to wrestle and get in the ring with these guys that bursting an eardrum, I don't even know what the recovery is on that. Like that, what happens after you burst your eardrum? A ruptured eardrum. Ugh. Sudden sharp pain in the ear, hearing loss, tinnitus. Welcome to the party, Cody Rhodes. Dizziness of vertigo, drainage of fluid, trauma to the ear, loud noises. Most small perforations heal on their own within a few weeks. In some cases, surgery may be necessary to repair. Antibiotics may be prescribed to the infection. All right, so it's not as well. I guess it could be permanent hearing loss and facial nerve damage and chronic ear infections. Dear God. So I mean, it can be where you let it rest and heal. I guess I don't know how you let it rest. You might get surgery with antibiotics, but there are some like really nasty complications where it's like, if this dude can't hear out of his ear because you got too real during a fake thing, brother, you are in for a rude awakening. And RIP, Ravishing Rick Rude, but a rude awakening if you get in a ring with these guys. And I know that Cody Rhodes just seems like the kind of guy where he wouldn't do that, but like, someone who's of the older generation, I think they would, like, I don't know, maybe like would Cena or The Rock turn on Travis Scott and be like, we're gonna fuck you up, dude. Like Travis Scott, if you've never seen him, it's not like picture The Rock, 6'5", 270. Now picture John Cena, 6 foot 250, all muscle. And then now picture Travis Scott, who I don't know, maybe he is a big dude. Travis Scott, Nope. Travis Scott, the musician, is estimated to be around 6 feet tall. You remember him being around 6 foot, but he did not look, I don't know if it was what he was wearing or what, but he did not look like he was too bulky. Looked kind of thin on the lean side. So I'm be curious to know more about that. Spiderman Noir movie trailer was trending. It was a top trending trailer search, even though don't bother going on YouTube trying to find it, because the official trailer does not exist, despite hundreds of search results that say otherwise. Spider-Man Noir official movie trailer, official, not official. They're all fan-made trailers. How YouTube can allow that to happen, I don't know. I guess it's a semantics issue where it's like, no. This is my official trailer. The Spider-Man. It's like, no, dude, that's not how it works. You can't just slap official on it because you constructed this trailer using the material and content that you don't own the rights to, dude. The IP, dude. But I guess Nick Cage is going to be Spider-Man Noir, which, how the frig old is Nick Cage at this point? I mean, he's got to be in his 50s, 60s, 61 years old. Because you think noir, you think like grizzled detective. It's usually someone who's kind of like not past their prime, but 40s or 50s, grizzled, down on his luck in the twilight of his career or something like that. So that could work. But interesting that they're going with noir. Why they would go with noir. And I don't know if it's a TV series or a movie yet. As you can tell, I'm giving you all kinds of very valuable information about this. So the set photos came out, but they didn't do it's all like first trailer, teaser trailer, official first look. And it's like, why are you all playing with my emotions? Why are you doing this to me? Is it animation or what is it? Very weird. I think it's live action, even though the poster looks like it's not live action. A Spider-Man dressed in all black that goes by the name of Spider Noir, about his life in the 1930s living as a superhero. So I get it does look like it's going to be a TV series that I assume will be on Disney Plus at some point. Like that poster is not helpful, dude. But they do have a photo of Nick Cage. So I don't understand what the fuck's going on with that. No. Nope. Nope. No. All right. It's so annoying. What websites do. And now I'm a part of it. Just not giving you what you want and having to yeah. Okay. Got it. So interesting. I guess wouldn't make sense to do a movie, but would be really interesting as a TV series, I think. And I don't, when's the last time that Nick Cage did a TV show? Well, that's a great question, Neal. Yeah, there it is. He had some involvement in television, including a TV pilot, a few Saturday Night Live appearances, and a Netflix docuseries. Best of Times. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I think he hosted that docuseries about swear words, which I think I watched. That was good. So, yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot of TV shows. So that'll be interesting to kind of follow along with him as a TV show. 123 credits he has as an actor. And he's in Long Legs, which I started it and I had to shut it off. I couldn't bring myself to watch it all. It was pretty late at night, but at the same time I was like, I'm setting myself up for failure here, even though recently I just watched Hereditary right before going to bed, like in bed watching Hereditary, which is a movie that is like, it's been in my queue for so long and I just haven't had the balls to throw it on. I haven't had the balls, the spine, the chutzpah, as the chosen ones like to say. I just haven't had it in me to just press play. Because I'm like, people have hailed this movie as like one of the best horror movies of all time. Oh my God. Well, at least of the 21st century, or at least of this decade, or the last decade, whatever decade it was. Yeah, last decade. Yeah, damn, did that come out? That almost came out 7 years ago, no? Holy cripes, dude. Yeah, 2018. Wow. Things were so different then. I was just about to have a baby. Not me, but my wife. So yeah, he has not been in a lot of TV shows. I have no idea how to like filter that to prove that, but he's done a shit ton of movies. But yeah, I'll check it out, I guess. I don't know. Disney Plus, I haven't really been watching Disney Plus at all. I was hoping that my daughter would be into Skeleton Crew, and that was a no-go. So it was Agatha All Along, I think is the last thing I watched. Deadpool and Wolverine in November. And then, yeah, I guess, rewatching Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 1,000 times. And Bluey. But in terms of like stuff that, for me, not a whole lot on D+. So that should be interesting. Spider-Man Noir. Well, I guess Andor season 2 is supposed to come back pretty soon. So definitely tune in for that. We also had the Daredevil Born Again. I never really watched the first Daredevil TV series. That's on me. But apparently it was pretty good. And this is like, they're bringing it back. Not sure how it's going to fit into everything. X-Men 97, but I watched that over the summer. It's been 10. Did you know? It's been 10 years since the infamous dress divided the internet and searches and color perception hit an all-time high. February 2015. Blue versus what was the other one? It was blue or what? Was it gold or yellow? Blue or yellow dress? The dress. That is ridiculous. That it's just the dress on Wikipedia. It's not like the blue and gold, blue and yellow dress. It's just the dress. I still to this day don't understand how anyone can freaking see that dress and think it's yellow. But such is vision, such as color perception, such as neuroscience. In February 2015, about a week before the wedding of Grace and Keir Johnston of Colonsay, Scotland, the bride's mother, Cecilia Blaisdell, took a photograph of a dress at Shire Hogs designer outlet north of Chester, England. Blaisdell intended to wear the dress at the wedding and sent the photograph to Grace. The dress was colored blue with black lace. However, Grace told her mother she perceived in the photograph as white with gold lace. Yeah, it's wild. Obviously blue and black. Remember Tumblr? It's wild. It's just so like it boggles my mind how things go viral sometimes when it's like not a celebrity. What something like as simple as this eventually like is on Facebook, and then it gets. I mean, I guess that's literally don't overthink it, Neal. That's what virality is. Someone sees it and shares it. They can't help but not share it. But share it. So I get it. Like it goes onto Tumblr, and then BuzzFeed discovers it, and then everyone knows about it, and then Twitter, and then Washington Post is covering it. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. Unreal. Confused and scared. Okay. So yeah, I still think it's blue and black, but if you think it's white, or what is it? White with gold lace, white with yellow lace. Godspeed. Yeah, it's been 10 years from that. I can't believe it's been 10 years. And then Laurel versus Yanny was also another big one. Or Yanny. That was a big one 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago? Or no, it was May 2018. Why the hell is this trending then? I don't even know why. Oh, what? I don't know. I guess people think of Laurel versus Yanny when they think of the gold blue dress controversy. Healthy debate, I guess. This is another one where it's just like, Laurel. I mean, what? Laurel. Laurel. Well, this says pitch shifted higher. I mean, I hear Laurel 1,000 times over. Laurel. I just, but if you hear Yanny, great. Yanny. I mean, I went to, everyone knows I went to the Johns Hopkins with one Yanny Rosenberg, our ace, our stud, our number one in the starter rotation, transfer from Tulane, who casually could throw like 90 miles per hour. It's so weird seeing him pitch. It was so weird seeing him pitch because it just didn't look like it was effortless. Like he just didn't look like he was throwing hard. Meanwhile, I put my ass into it, my back into it. We be clubbing and barely touch 87 with the wind behind me. So yeah. I mean, Yanny, Laurel. I don't know. Which is interesting because like, I remember one of the coolest tricks that I ever learned was you could say, I don't even think I could do it now. Well, maybe I could do it now. You hold your hands like this. And I think I did this before on the pod, but my memory's going. So it's been real. Like clasped like that. And you leave a little hole right there. Giggity. And you put your mouth up to the hole so that, there's no separation. It's pretty much locked, loaded. And then you say doy. And by saying doy, you're saying doy, but people hear girl. So let's see if I remembered how to do this, because this is another thing I haven't done since I was 11 or 12. No. Now I was saying girl and it came out as doy, but when I said doy, it sounded like doy. I think it just sounds like doy regardless. This has been fun. This is what people want to talk about, but they don't want to listen to me talk about it. Jurassic World Rebirth was the top trending movie that was searched in early February. I think I watched the trailer, but maybe I'll watch it again right now.
Dr. Henry Loomis, this is Zora Bennett, mission specialist.
ScarJo. So hot.
This would be a major break to save countless lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet. Fortunately for us, all these species exist in one isolated place. You be ready tomorrow?
I can guarantee your safety. I mean, more or less.
More or less. He's your guy.
Not moving things and people in and out of places they shouldn't.
Move up towards Barbados, avoid government control, but there aren't that many anymore. Why's that? No one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
We need DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs. Do we have to get a sample from an... I suppose we could try and get it from a parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
Maybe we should make it quick.
Territory, stalk, hunt.
None of what you just said is good.
All right. I mean, I love Jurassic Park. I can't. What's the expression from Brokeback Mountain? I can't quit you. I can't quit you. Jurassic Park. Case in point, after the Oscars, I ended up watching. Couldn't find Jurassic Park anywhere, and that's Jurassic Park has become the like almost like a palate cleanser for me. It's like anytime I've gone through a stretch of where it's like, these are the fucking movies that are supposed to be the best and the top movies. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no. I'm going to show you what one of the best movies of all time is. And then I watched Jurassic Park. Who am I talking to? Like, I'm not, I'm going to show who? Myself? Or I just need to remind myself, okay, this is a movie that I can pop on at any time and know that I'm going to get, it's going to be almost just as good as the first time. Like I still love that freaking movie. It's insane. 30 some odd years later. So, I'll go to the theater and watch it, but like, I get that the Dominion's, what was it? World Dominion or Dominion? Jurassic World Dominion was the last one with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, and it was just such a letdown because they did bring back like, Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill and Laura Dern, but then they talk about freaking locusts. It's just like, oh my god, dude, this is not why we're watching this franchise right now. Is to have some kind of message about. Now we're talking about climate change. Like okay, I'm not denying climate. I'm not making a stance or a political statement right now about climate change. What I am saying is that I don't want that in my dinosaur movie. Like, even though, I guess that's the environment was a major factor for why they went extinct. When it was completely eradicated by a humongous space rock. So I get it. But for me, what this, just reacting to that trailer, I still am not that crazy about a lot of the visual effects. I'm telling you, the best visual effects I saw was in, was it Dinosaur Planet? No, that was Discovery Channel. So it's not that. Prehistoric Planet. And I guess it's because they did a lot of slow motion and a lot of like still, it wasn't the dinosaurs in motion. It was slow motion. So I guess that's why the visual effects could be so good. Cause like my guess, having zero experience, like creating computer generated imagery, is like, once you got things moving, it's kind of hard to make it look real moving. But when they're still or moving very slowly, it's probably a heck of a lot easier. So if you are into dinos, you've probably already seen this, but if you're in a Jurassic Park and you want to see what real dinosaurs or the realest of the fake dinosaurs look like, turn on Prehistoric Planet because I was blown away. And I was thinking to myself, like, how the fuck are they able to do this? I mean, it released in May over 2 Memorial Day weekends back to back, 2022, 2023. So May 2022, May 2023. So, yeah, kudos to whatever visual effects team did that, because that is the most real looking dinosaurs I've ever seen. So you would think that word would have to get back to the folks at Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchise, the producers, and be like, whatever they're doing, let's hire them, buy them out, or let's get them, because we need, just need to look a little bit better. It's a little bit better. I mean, some of the favorite, most iconic, memorable scenes and favorite scenes from the original was all practical effects. It's a sucker for practical effects. And I don't know, I guess looking back, there were 2 scenes that I watched, and I was like, I had gone quote unquote swimming, you know what I mean? I was a little fishy that night. So yeah, I had a couple tails in me, and but those scenes like really jumped out at me, or it's just like, whoa. So I guess, yes, there's been some improvement in terms of the CGI since 1993, thank God. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen movies with amazing CGI to the point where it's like you almost really can't tell the difference between that and what's real. And yet we still can't make a lot of the dinosaurs come across as looking real. But I thought that, it's tough. I mean, it's a YouTube video. It's not, I assume when I see it in the theater in 3D, it'll be a lot more immersive. But I did like the quote. I love Scarlett Johansson, ScarJo. I'll watch her in anything. And apparently she was a big fan of the franchise. But it had me thinking, like, why is that not like this, like a requirement when casting? Like, hey, are you like, how much of a fan of you are of this franchise? And like, I would think that would translate well to a great performance. But then another part of me is like, I wonder if they do want to, that shouldn't be the case across the board, because then it would almost get too like insidery, if that makes any sense. But it would be nice to like have someone who has never seen Jurassic Park before get cast as like one of the main supporting characters, and see how they kind of interact with everything and handle it for the first time. You'd be surprised. There are people who have never seen Star Wars. People have never seen Back to the Future. It's crazy. But yeah, I think Scarlett Johansson's a great addition. Mahershala Ali, also awesome casting. I think that was a great choice. I didn't really see many other name recognizable faces or names, but cool, like mercenary mission to a secret island. Ooh, where it's like there was a research facility, and now these are the dinosaurs that were too dangerous. Like, that's what I think the hook for me was, like, well, this island is all the dinosaurs that are too hot for TV. Like, they are too dangerous for the actual park. Now, keep in mind, the actual park, as it's not much success in terms of like staying open, and that's mostly because of the mass casualties. So it's like, if these are the dinosaurs that are too dangerous for even that, whoa. So I'd imagine in my head, I don't know why, but I thought like, oh, it's going to be like, could it be a Island of Dr. Moreau situation where it's like, typically, with each Jurassic World that comes out, it's like we're introducing a new dinosaur, and this new dinosaur is the apex predator. It's better than the apex predator. It's the zenith of apex predator. It's just like, and this is the feature, and this is the thing, and each time it's just like, okay. I still I think T-Rex is still the guy, still the king of the jungle. It's still but this one feels a little more interesting where it's like, God damn it, they butchered Dominion. I mean, the whole premise and the whole promise at the end of the second Jurassic World, which was kind of like it's dinosaurs in a mansion. The whole promise of the third one at the end of the second one is like, okay, they're now out in the public and they're breeding, and now they're taking over the Earth. Jurassic World Dominion. And I don't know that do we even really get that? There's so much attention paid to the fucking locusts. Like, that was what was most appealing about. Was it the third or the second Jurassic Park? Was it Lost World? I think it was Lost World and not 3. Lost World, it's like, and they show it in the previews and the trailers, it's a T-Rex in downtown San Diego. And then going in the suburbs and going in and drinking from a pool in the backyard and sticking its head in a house window. It's like, that was the kind of shit that was like so appealing. And you thought like, okay, maybe that's what's the route they're going to take possibly with Dominion. And instead it was like, yep, dinosaurs are just a part of everyday life, and dino deaths are down by 13%. And it's like, you skipped over the best part of them taking over the world. And now we're at the part where like everyone, like it's just a thing. It's just like another thing that we deal with. God damn you. At the end of the Jurassic World 2, it was like, there's one, I think it was on one side of the gorge is a lion and the other side is a T-Rex, and they're just roaring at each other. And it's just like, let's get it on. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. And then Dominion was just like, locusts. Oh. So hopefully they don't go down that road for Rebirth. But I part of me is like, because they didn't, and they showed like hints and pieces of dinosaurs that we've seen before, like the Spinosaurus and not the Megasaurus, Mazosaurus, whatever. The ones in the water, they showed a little bit of the pterodactyl, and it's like, but I get this sense that it's like, oh, it's a research facility. Maybe this is where they experiment, and this is where they can really get wild with the experiments, and R&D can just have as free license to do whatever the hell they want to see what they can come up with, And they must have created some really nasty dinosaurs. And I think that's what this could be. And if that's the case and they're able to pull it off, that's very appealing to me. Like a Royal Rumble, if you will, of just these like mashed up dinosaurs, mutated, mashed up dinosaurs, where it's like, we did a crossbreed. We breeded a bulldog with a Shih Tzu. It's like we bred and I think they did that with one of the other ones where it's like it's part raptor and it's part something else, and it's like, and I'm part bored. So it'd be interesting to see like, okay, we combine a pterodactyl with a stegosaurus. Like, say what? Like, I think that's where they're going, or like, but they said this is where the biggest, baddest dinosaurs live. So where do you go from there? I don't know, but yeah, I'll go see it. Another Simple Favor, that trailer was trending as well. Kind of weird that I liked A Simple Favor. If you don't remember, A Simple Favor was about a single mother with a parenting vlog who befriends a secretive upper class woman with whose their children both go to the same elementary school. And so when this secretive upper class woman goes missing, the single mom, or the vlog mom vlogger, takes it upon herself to investigate. And I remember liking the movie. It had it's like a considered dark comedy, black comedy, thriller, suspense, mystery. And Blake Lively was in it. Anna Kendrick was in it. They have a pretty good chemistry. I like the dichotomy there. Was I begging for a sequel? Not really, but curious to see where they take it. I watched the trailer and I was like, what? So Blake Lively's character is now getting married to some rich guy in Italy, and she wants this woman to be her bridesmaid. I don't know. I feel like it's going down a very kooky, like, path that we've seen before, where it's like kooky in a way that's like we've seen it before and it sucks. Like, this is not the different kooky. This is like cliche kooky. So hopefully there are more layers and twists and turns than what it appears to be, because that's what made A Simple Favor so fun to watch. But that could be the move from a lot of streamers, from a lot of studios and streamers now, where it's like, we're going to get top-notch A-list talent, and normally this would go in the theater, but we know that like it just doesn't have enough juice from like a character perspective or a story perspective, or it doesn't really carry a massive production budget to produce. So it's like they don't feel like they have to put it in theaters, and then the streamers will buy it up. I think Prime Video is going to stream it on May 1st. So, you saw it with Borat going. I don't think did Borat have a run in the theaters? It was kind of during COVID, but like you're seeing like, Coming to America had the sequel where it's really just streaming. I think it didn't really go in theaters, but again, I think that was COVID as well. Fucking COVID. I remember on IMDb, A Simple Favor got a rating of 6.8 out of 10. I gave it a 7 out of 10, but it's this high 6 for me. Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it a 6.9 out of 10, and audiences gave it a 3.7 out of 5 on Rotten Tomatoes, which roughly translates to a 69 out of 100, or 6.9 out of 10. The premise for another Simple Favor, it all started with just a simple favor. Stephanie Smothers, played by Anna Kendrick, and Emily Nelson, played by Blake Lively, reunite on the beautiful island of Capri, Italy, for Emily's extravagant wedding to a rich Italian businessman. Along with the glamorous guests, expect murder and betrayal to RSVP for a wedding with more twists and turns than the road from the Marina Grande to the Capri Town Square. Oh, that one? Like, who the fuck is supposed to know that? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. Hasn't been a lot to check out lately. Search interest in the Fantastic Four first movie spiked. That's because the Fantastic Four First Steps movie trailer spiked, along with the first movie. I guess people decided to get more interested in that. Marvel's first family faced their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defeat Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his herald Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four must protect their 1960s-inspired retro-futuristic world from the planet-devouring cosmic being Galactus. Pedro Pascal stars as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby, who played the White Widow in the Mission Impossible series, like Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and Hattie in Hobbs and Shaw, which I think she has to kiss The Rock in that. And it was just like, now I understand why there aren't more romance scenes with The Rock. He just, it's not quite able to pull it off. Also, she's like 20 years younger than him, I would think. Maybe even younger. Oof. That rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. But so Vanessa Kirby, if you can picture that in your mind's eye, plays Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman. Joseph Quinn. If you listen to my review of Gladiator 2, you know he was Emperor Geta, who I thought he did well, but I think the response from a lot of people was that he and the other emperor, co-emperor, were just a little not quite up to carrying the mantle that, or taking the torch from Joaquin Phoenix in the original. But Joseph Quinn also played Eddie Munson in the Stranger Things TV series. He had that epic scene playing guitar to Metallica in the Upside Down to attract all the demons and monsters and whatnot. Top 5 scene in TV history, in my opinion. But he was great in that. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It reminds me a lot of Robert Downey Jr. And he plays in Fantastic Four. He'll play Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. And then they have Iban Mas Bakrak, I think is his name. Probably butchered it. He plays Ben Grimm, aka the Thing. He played Richie in The Bear. If you've ever watched The Bear, he plays Richie. I do not watch The Bear because I can't handle that kind of anxiety in my life anymore. I'm sorry. He also played Arvel Skeen in Andor, and Desi in Girls, and then Gary in No Hard Feelings, that rom-com with Jennifer Lawrence where she's 30 some odd years old trying to seduce an 18-year-old virgin because his parents want him to lose his virginity. Which, you know what? I think my parents had that conversation. I really think they did. At one point. They were like, he's never been on a date. He's never mentioned a girlfriend. I mean, I've told this before, but they thought I was gay at one point. I think my dad wanted to get me a subscription to Playboy when I was in high school. And it was just because I can't remember if that was before or after my mom caught me looking at the nudes on the family desktop in the computer room. So yeah. Did he end up getting a subscription? I don't believe he did. But I was so in my head about it. I was like, this is a test. He's testing me. They're testing me. So I'm going to say no. I'm above that. It's like, I probably should have just said yes. I wouldn't be in the spot I'm in now. Probably, maybe not. So that's Iban Mas Bakarak. Backrack? I don't know. Backrack, dude. Whoa. And he was also Joseph Quinn was Eric in A Quiet Place Day One. I forgot to mention that. I was like, I remember watching the movie and looking at him and being like, I know this freaking guy. Where is this freaking guy from? I can't tell because he's playing a very, I want to say very different, but a different type of character in that movie than he does in Stranger Things or in Gladiator 2. Like in Stranger Things and Gladiator 2, he's putting on a very like bold, assertive, aggressive, dramatic type character where, you know, very expressive, very kind of in your face or over the top. Quiet Place Day One, he's much more reserved and very quiet. And it was so atypical to what I've seen him that I didn't even recognize him. I thought he was some other guy some other actor from another show or movie. So, and then looking back in retrospect, I don't know if it was the best choice. It was like, you have this actor, look at the shit he's done, the roles he's taken, and then you put him in a suit and he's very like subdued and melodic. And it's just like, I don't know. It felt like a little bit of a waste, but I still enjoyed it, but it was just like, I wanted more knowing who he is now. Spoiler, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, the Thing, I don't know, is CG. It doesn't look too bad, I guess. You just right away you can tell it's CG. You know, part of the allure of the first movie was that it was practical and it looked real and it felt real. And I guess their approach here is the same as what they took with the Hulk, which the Hulk, by the time you get to Endgame, is like, whoa, pretty good looking. But then they had She-Hulk and it was like, kind of took a step back. But that was a TV series versus a movie. I get it. So they took that same approach here where it's like you have the actor in a mocap suit and just as they had Mark Ruffalo in the mocap suit for the Hulk. So I don't know if this is actually supposed to be in the 60s or not. Like if it's judging by the aesthetic and the cars and the technology and the outfits, everything appears to be 60s. So yes, I believe it is in the 60s. But much like in Fallout, they're using like retro futurism, a retro futuristic look and style, which I loved in Fallout. And I think the movement for retro futuristic, if I had to put a date, if I had to put a peg in the sand for like the timeline, I think it started with Mandalorian. I want to say the Mandalorian, where it was like Jon Favreau realized that part of the appeal of Star Wars for a lot of fans is what the technology looked like in the original trilogy. So episodes 4, 5, 6, New Hope, Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Like the technology as it looked then, he made sure that it looked similar to that or akin to that in The Mandalorian. Whereas, you look at like the prequels and maybe not so much to the extent with the last three, the last trilogy, but like especially with the prequel is like they just abandoned. It's almost like they abandoned that because they're like, well, we're not in the 70s anymore. We're producing this in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. So we got to make sure we upgrade the technology. And it's like, no. Maybe don't do that because it felt almost like a different world. So I do love the retro futurism of it all, like that I saw in Fallout. We are approaching. I don't want to sound dramatic and be like we're approaching dangerous territory, but like, and I don't even think we're at the tipping point. I think we're at the beginning. You're going to see a whole wave of retro futuristic type programming coming out in terms of movies and TV shows. It's just a trend that I think it just entered the zeitgeist and everyone took to it. And it's literally going viral in everything you see, because I think you saw it in Black Mirror season 6. You see it in Fallout, The Electric State, which just released on Netflix. That is set, I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but maybe I am spoiling something. But that has a retro future. I'll make sure to do a review of that when we talk about March. But that's very retro futuristic, and like I definitely dig it, and I like it, and I like what they did there. But now I'm seeing like, okay, Fantastic Four, First Steps is going to be retro futuristic. I think it's just, it's almost like the like remember when the multiverse, it was like that went big. It's like now retro futurism is starting to really take off. So hopefully it doesn't, a little dab will do you. Doesn't need to be everywhere. Silver Surfer is also played by Julia Garner, which I'm sort of excited to see because she's so good in Ozark. She was the best part of Ozark by a long shot was Julia Gardner. And that's why I was so disappointed by Wolfman yet again. I think I talked about last episode, but Wolfman, I felt like, okay, they're building off the success of Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss. Now they get Julia Gardner for Wolfman. It's like, then are they going to then, you just, I don't know. It felt like the stars were aligning, and then, I haven't watched it yet, but apparently it's not great. So sucks, but love her. Love that she's Silver Surfer. And I don't know if I need to give away who's Galactus. I don't know. But other cast members, Natasha Lyonne, cool. John Malkovich, very cool. Paul Walter Hauser, awesome. And it's directed by Matt Shakman, who I personally know. The only reason I know him is from he directed like a ton of episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I want to say like at least 20, maybe upwards of 40, more than 40, which is, crazy. I mean, I missed the Always Sunny podcast. I think they just stopped it outright. Every week it seemed like they talked about stopping it. And then they actually did it. They're just like, nope. They were like, they did tour dates. They went on tour and then they just stopped cold. And like, no one wants to listen to this. And it's like, literally, we could listen to you guys talk about fucking the evolution of the snail. So disappointed that podcast is not around, but they always marvel at Matt Shackman and just his career arc. So you're in good hands with this Fantastic Four. It's been spotty. It's been a rough road to hoe for that franchise, but looks like it's all coming together under his watch. He also directed 9 episodes of WandaVision, which won an Emmy. The series won an Emmy, and he won an Emmy for that. Written by Peter Cameron, who wrote Werewolf by Night, which is I guess you'd say made for streaming TV movie that was all in black and white, but still awesome. Gabriel Garcia Bernana was in it, and I just remember loving that a lot. And I wish they would do, that would be like an anthology thing that they do, like every Halloween, but they didn't. I don't think they did follow up on that. Cameron also wrote episodes of Moon Knight, WandaVision, and Agatha All Along. And Josh Friedman, also co-written by Josh Friedman, who wrote War of the Worlds, which I don't know what the take is there on War of the Worlds. I think people were disappointed in it, but I find myself always, like, if it's on and I flip into channels and it's on, I'll watch it. I think it's a good movie. Tom Cruise, was it Elle Fanning or Dakota Fanning? It was Elle Fanning when she was just a wee lass. But I remember liking that a lot. He also wrote Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I was not blown away by, but it's an okay watch. It's a decent watch. But he also created Foundation, a TV show that I really got into. And I think it's going to be entering season 3. And he's also credited with the story for Terminator Dark Fate and Avatar Way of Water. So not too shabby. Unlike the other two, well, I don't know. I've never watched. So there was Fantastic Four, the original one with Chris Evans as the Human Torch and Michael Chiklis as the Thing, and the other guy as the Thing, and Jessica Alba as Sue Storm. Okay. And so I watched that. I think I watched that first one. I don't think I ever watched the second one. And then they did the reboot or the remake 10 years ago. Was it? I can't believe it's been 10 years since that came out. Yeah, it's been 10 years. Wow. Where that one came out and it was just it was not great. Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara. Miles Teller as Kate Mara as Oof, sucks. But that was that was a huge bomb. There's a podcast that I've mentioned before called What Went Wrong, when they had an episode talking about what went wrong with that Fantastic Four movie, and it's kind of heartbreaking. Ugh, because I think the director was like up and coming, and he had some other movie that he released that was like low budget that was really great. And then that's because of that, he got hired to direct this. This was like his biggest project he ever directed. And it just all went to pieces. So kind of tough, sad. But so I don't know if this character appears in that movie because I didn't watch it, but Herbie, Herbie, a robot companion to the Fantastic Four, will appear, and also expected to appear as a character, Mole Man. Ah. Oh, I wonder if he'll do that. If Shackman will do that, if he can get permission from the Always Sunny's guy. Because, like, can I introduce Mole Man like that? My biggest question here is, like, if this is set in the 60s, how is that going to work in terms of the universe? Unless this is really, they're going to go the alternate reality route. Like, they're still kind of, they've already made it known that the multiverse exists. So this is an alternate 1960s, and somehow that's going to influence. See what I'm getting at? Like, I'm trying to see, and that's, that's kind of the crux of this, of when you put it out there that this is a universe. It's like, that's my number one question. How does this fit? I don't see how this fits into the current layout of the universe or the multiverse. So, and that's the gift of the multiverse, I guess, is that you can just be like, multiverse. This is another timeline, another universe. It won't affect anything that's going on. We just think it's a cool story. So it allows for a greater degree of flexibility, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how they are able to incorporate it into the timeline, because, looking back, there wasn't much, although now I'm trying to think about Easter eggs. Thinking about Easter eggs in a lot of the earlier Avengers movies, and if they made any reference to the Fantastic Four. I mean, of course, in the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange and the Mom, holla. There is an appearance with John Krasinski as Reed Richards. So, but that wasn't, that was exploring the multiverse. That was a cool scene. That was such a good scene. I love that scene. So that, I guess, but I mean, Multiverse of Madness, that was 3 years ago. Do people remember that? That, like, that's where the Fantastic Four, I guess, officially was part of the MCU. I don't know if the 2015 one was part of the MCU. Why wasn't it? Oy. Where's it going with that? Great question, Neil. Thanks, Neil. So part of me wants to think that if there was an Easter egg hinting at the fact that they did want to make sure that audiences were aware that the Fantastic Four is part of the universe, and not just, spring it on us. Did they sprinkle throughout the phases any references to Fantastic Four? I can't think of any that jump out at me, but there might have been a line or two that they just mixed in to lay the foundation and plant the seed. The teaser for Fantastic Four was viewed 200 million times in the first 24 hours, the third best numbers performance by a Marvel Studios trailer after Deadpool and Wolverine and Spider-Man No Way Home. So, yeah, I think I'm in. I think this is, it's in good hands. I think they're going to shepherd this to the finish line, and it could be, Deadpool and Wolverine kind of breathe new life into the universe, and maybe Fantastic Four is able to kind of, continue the momentum, keep the momentum going. So pretty pumped about that. I think it releases July 4th, right? Oh, it doesn't release this year, does it? The July release date? July 25th. My bad. 7/25/25. And music by Michael Giacchino. Oscar winner. See what else he's done. I can't name it off the top of my skull, but I know that he's done a lot. Star Trek, The Batman, Cloverfield, War of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, this dude is too legit to quit. Hey. So yeah. Mark your calendars, dude. When does Jurassic World Rebirth come out? That comes out July 2nd. July is going to be a great month. I almost said year. Feels like a year, you know what I'm saying? Game day food. So with the Super Bowl coming up in the early part of February, game day food was trending. Charcuterie board was a top trending search related to Super Bowl food. I think people take their charcutes a little too hardcore. They get a little too serial about charcuteries. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think anyone really gives a fuck. I don't think anyone really cares. There are a couple people I follow on Twitter and whatnot that, like, they get people to submit and they judge the charcuterie boards. And it's just like, I assume, like, if I were to assemble a board, it would get an F-. There's no doubt in my mind, because I'm I'm more about like what's gonna hit, what's gonna slap, dude. Not like, oh, how does this look next to the olives? 7-layer dip and pigs in a blanket were top trending Super Bowl appetizers. Huge proponent of 7-layer dip. That's like my go-to move. Very simple to make, and I love it. And it usually lasts for you should last a week, sometime maybe 3 or 4 days, more like it. Pigs in a blanket I've never made, and I do enjoy them, but I think people like I know Barstool Clem from Barstool Sports. He big pigs in a blanket guy calls them swish. I have no idea why. I guess if you know, it's they can be pretty hit or miss. I feel like that's a hit or miss food. It's never always a hit. Like there's some times where it's just like, I think the bread you used or the croissant, the wiener, it's just off. But yeah, I'll pop a few of those, knock a few of those back. Kansas City foods for Super Bowl is trending, obviously because the Chiefs were playing. Burnt ends, ribs, and brisket were the top 3 trending Kansas City foods. All barbecue, obviously. All slow smoked, tender and flavorful. Tang is sweet, smoke it tender. But then there was one that kind of caught my eye. Kind of wild that had been around for 4 decades and I don't know about this. Chili and cinnamon rolls. Not separate, together. Chili and cinnamon rolls. And I know, I feel like most of my friends probably regurgitating a little bit in the back of the throat. You know, just a little bit of the acid coming up the pipe. I'm in love with that idea. And I want it. And I can't believe I never thought of it because I have a reputation as being an experimenter in the lab, aka the kitchen. And I feel like it's wild to me that I've never thought of combining those two, because I've combined a lot of foods and a lot of people have disagreed with those tactics, but it's worked out in the end. 10 out of 10 usually. There have been some really bad misfires, but normally it's like, you know, my gut was right on this and now I'm going to reward my gut. So add that to the grocery list. Chili and cinnamon donuts, or cinnamon rolls, excuse. Sliders also tend to spike in searches around the Super Bowl, the big food trend. I don't think I like sliders. I know it's a weird take, but like, it feels like you're eating more bread than I would want. Like the bread to me is just a vehicle. Like there's some buns, obviously some breads where it's like, oh fuck, yes. But 90% of the buns that you get or use are unmemorable. You know, they're not making the memory bank. So like, that's why I remember whenever someone's like, yeah, we should order the sliders as appetizers. And I'm just like, okay. Because you eat 3 and that's basically like eating 1 patty with 5 buns. I think you think you're overthinking it, Neal? Yeah, I think I'm overthinking it. What do you think? I'm overthinking it. It just feels like you're not eating, like, I don't know, like, is 3 sliders a burger? So if I eat 6 sliders, is that a double cheeseburger? Like, I don't know what the conversion rate is on this. I need the conversion chart, because if you don't give me a conversion chart, I'm going to eat 10 sliders thinking it's like 2 burgers when it's really 4. Can't stop eating the sliders. And like, is it gauche for me to just like plop it all in my mouth at the same, like, or am I supposed to do bites? Can I just one and done it? What's the deal? Cocktail recipes that trend during the Super Bowl. Jungle juice, hell yeah. That was our go-to, a staple in the basement of Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity house. Usually in a old Gatorade bucket mixed with a rusty golf club, a broken rusty golf club. So And man, was it delish. And man, did it wipe out hordes of brain cells. Old fashioned, sure, why not? Margarita, yeah, okay. Espresso martini, which I always decide to do at the worst possible time. It's like, no, you're not supposed to end the night with that. Okay. Mojito, Long Island iced tea, whiskey sour, Moscow Mule, and White Russian. This one caught my eye, though. Sazerac cocktail? Sazerac cocktail? Classic cocktail, the official drink of New Orleans, which is crazy that I've now been down there a bajillion times and don't remember having it. Don't remember anyone mentioning it. Don't remember anyone ordering it. But it's possible that I did, and I forgot. Traditionally made with rye, whiskey, sugar, Peychaud's bitters, and absinthe, and served in glass rinsed with absinthe. That might be why I don't remember it. Little Green Fairy got me. R.I.P. Michelle Trachtenberg from Eurotrip. So sad. So maybe I did have this, and maybe it wasn't in New Orleans. It might have been in Baltimore. Now that I think about it, when I don't want to get into that. So Sazerac, absinthe, dude. I feel like absinthe is everywhere now. It's just like a thing. It's just like part of society. Whereas it felt like it was so taboo before. And now it's like, no, you can drink it and it's fine. But maybe it's knockoff absinthe. I don't know. Top dips, Super Bowl dips. Searched around the Super Bowl time. Buffalo chicken dip, 7-layer dip, jalapeno popper dip. Whoa. Add that to the list. Crab dip recipe, queso dip, taco dip, Philly cheese stick dip. Hell yeah. Whipped feta dip. Okay. Cannoli dip. What? And then rotel dip. I had to look this up. It's made with 4 simple ingredients: ground beef or sausage, tomatoes, chili powder, and cheese. And I think I fell in love with a stripper. My God, rotel dip? Where have you been all my life? So I might have to give that a try. Jalapeno popper dip, for sure. Rotel dip, okay. Philly cheese stick dip, And maybe for feeling frisky, a cannoli dip. Super Bowl appetizers. Again, sliders. Fuck you. Potato skins, nachos, meatballs. Can never say no to a meatball. I am a meatball. Jalapeno poppers, yep. Ham and cheese pinwheels, okay. Then these two caught my attention. Cowboy caviar, aka Texas caviar. It's a bean salad consisting of black-eyed peas, 2000 and late, lightly pickled in a vinaigrette style dressing, often eaten as a dip accompaniment to tortilla chips. And yeah, you're gonna have toots magoots after that one for sure. You're gonna be wanted dead or alive after that one. And then giardiniera. You know, I'm Italian, but not that Italian. Giardiniera, an Italian relish of pickled vegetables and vinegar oil. I saw the picture of this on Wikipedia. They picked the worst, most unappetizing picture you could ever find of this fucking shit on the internet to be on Wikipedia. Because I look at that and I'm like, hard pass. That is like the stuff that they give you at the deli when they run out of fries and everything else. It's like, well, we have giardiniera. The Italian version includes bell peppers, celery, carrots, cauliflower, and gherkins. The Chicago style version sounds way better. Chicago style giardiniera is made spicy with sport peppers or chili flakes, along with a combination of the aforementioned or olives, all marinated in vegetable oil, olive oil, soybean oil, or any combination of the three. I mean, let's just get it on, dude. Let's mix it up. So I probably will lean towards the Chicago style version. They seem to know what they're doing out there. And then the top trending items searched with each team, taco soup recipe was big in Philadelphia. Taco soup. Isn't this just chili? Nope. I don't want to go stroll through this whole thing, dude. Ground beef, olive oil, yellow onion and garlic, jalapeno, canned diced tomatoes, green chilies, beef broth, tomato sauce, chili powder, cumin, paprika, oregano, salt and pepper, dry ranch dressing mix, frozen corn, canned black beans, and pinto beans. Sounds like chili. Am I missing something? It sounds like chili. Marry Me chicken recipe trended with the Chiefs. I still think about my ex-girlfriend, my then girlfriend at the time, making me marry me chickpeas and then dumping me 2 weeks later. It's like I feel like I'm getting mixed messages. The Philly Flyer. What is it? No, not the frickin' hockey team, dude. The cocktail. Blue Coat Gin, Luxardo, Maraschino liqueur, fresh lemon juice, and creme de cassis. Okay. Oh, what is that shit that everyone is like gushing over? Chartreuse? Yeah. Oh my God. People love chartreuse. French herbal liqueur. Available in green and yellow versions. Like apparently it's selling so crazily that it's hard to find. Well, no. This is why it's hard to find. Chartreuse is hard to find because the Carthusian monks who produce it decided to limit production in 2021. They produced it for centuries, made the decision to cap production, aiming to protect their life and devote more time to prayer and solitude. Monks have set a production cap of around 1.6 million bottles per year, which is not enough to meet the current demand. Oh, dear God. Simple economics, folks. Limit the supply, increase the demand. So, top searched chicken wing flavors and styles. Wet. They couldn't have put sauce there. They just went with wet. Okay. Buffalo, predominantly, at least in Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland. French onion dip wings in Florida. Holler at your boy. Tagine wings, which I thought it began with a Z. Does not. Begins with a T. But that seasoning is fire, dude. And so Tagine wings, I'm on board with that. Tennessee. Honey Dijon, honey garlic, honey chipotle, honey barbecue, Cajun wings boil in Texas. I don't comprehend. Mango habanero in Louisiana. Stay classy. And sticky wings all up in, okay, that's Georgia. What? That's Mississippi. It's either Alabama or Mississippi. And then in terms of dry rub, you got garlic parmesan, lemon pepper, mesquite, salt and pepper up in the limousine, breaded wings. I mean, just come on now. Breaded wings. The breading is like, I cannot take lots of breading on a freaking wing. I feel cheated. How about Asian angel wings being the top search in Alaska? What's going on over there in Alaska? Huh? So those are the wings. And then in terms of dips, Florida bringing the heat. Yes, yet again, breakfast sausage queso dip. Fuck yes. God damn you, Florida. Never change. Crack dip in Oklahoma. I gotta get my ass to Oklahoma. That's for damn sure. That's one state I have not been in, around, or through. And I need to get there. I feel like there's a lot to explore. It's a beautiful country of ours. Taking a look. I don't really see anything in terms of the cheesy ones. Buffaloes, yeah, most of the buffalo chicken deep. There isn't much variation there. Veggie. Yeah. Mexican street corn dip. Sign me up for that. That's in what's that? Kentucky. Yeah. I could be down for that. And then the jalapeno popper dip in Ohio. Ohio Sports Bar is the pinnacle That's a bold claim. I got to back up off that a little bit because I have not eaten at a sports bar in every single state. But damn, when I visited my sister when she was living in Ohio and we went out to the sports bar, I was like, all right, you guys know how to have a fat kid day at the sports bar. And then in terms of meats and proteins, I'm seeing a lot of Philly cheese stick dips. Love it, love it, love it. New Mexico with a birria dip. I do like myself birria dip. Birria is the kind of slop that I'm into. And then burnt ends dip in North Carolina. Hell yeah, dude. Cranberry jalapeno dip in Texas. I don't think I'd be able to survive very long in Texas. I feel like I would just, I feel like I would just be, like I am the weakest of the herd. And so like, I'm going to get clipped by somebody or something. That's what I think is going to go down in Texas. So, the Friday before the Super Bowl, I was about to drop off my daughter and, at school, like pulling up, we're about to make a right into the driveway, kind of circular, semicircle driveway that is known as the car line. About to drop her off. We usually do like nice positive affirmations, right before she gets out of the car, because I know it can be, no matter how many times you go, going into school can be nerve-wracking because it's like, oh no, I gotta go through another day of this crap. So we do a little positive affirmations. We usually do that. Instead, she throws this at me. Are aliens real? Like literally, I'm about to press my foot on the brakes for her to open the car door and get out. And she hits me with, are aliens real? I was just like, you want a yes, no answer right now? Like, I think I was able to say, I believe they're real, but there's a good chance they're not real, but I can't see how they're not real because look how big the universe is. Look how big space is. I find it hard to believe we're not the only living things and species in this entire solar system and galaxy. I just don't. And she was gone. She's already halfway into school. I was like, how do you hit me? Like, why did you ask me now? Why did you ask me at home on a Saturday morning when we could take the whole weekend and dive into this shit? And I'd show you documentaries and I'd show you TV shows and movies and you make the call. Nope. I'm gonna wait until I'm just about to pull up and stop for you to get out. Are aliens real? I mean, I guess the short answer is, what do you? I mean, you have to say technically no, because there is no actual physical concrete evidence. I don't think, despite there's a lot out there. I mean, there's a lot out there. There's a whole industry of people and creators and whatnot and quote unquote evidence, but it's like one of those things where, it's, I always use this when I sometimes put on my resume, but when I was working at the New York Post as a YouTube strategist for their YouTube channel, I saw that like UFO was a top search term that was bringing a lot of people into the channel and they were watching UFO content. I think they had only uploaded like not even a handful, like maybe 2 or 3 UFO videos. And they were all very short and it was all very like grainy footage and whatnot, but all asking the question, like, is this a UFO, blah, blah. And they were getting pretty good retention and whatnot. So I was like, all right, well, maybe we should do a series on UFOs. Like, have you ever thought about doing a series on that? An in-depth investigative series where you have a host, you have a different guest each week, and you can talk about major events in UFO history, diving into all the evidence that is out there and just having like not crazy discussions, but just like logic-based discussions, diving into everything, everything that's out there around all these key, content pillars within the UFO ecosystem. So like, triangular UFOs versus spheres versus boxes versus blah, blah. And, of course, everyone knows Roswell and Area 51, but like there are other events that happened and looking into those events and what can we pull from it and whatnot. So pitched that, and it turned out that one of the producers / editors, aka Predators, was really into UFOs, UFO enthusiasts. And so he kind of took the reins on that one and ran with it, took the project and ran with it, and produced a bunch of episodes. This was, I had just published the teaser for the series, like the week that my contract ended. So I wasn't able to see it all the way through, but they ended up doing like a couple seasons of it, and it's gotten like 18 million views on YouTube. So if you're in UFOs and that kind of stuff, it's called The Basement Office. And I think a lot of people would disagree with my claiming success, using that as an accomplishment and achievement on my resume or in my cover letter or my pitches to hiring managers. But it's like, would they have done that if I hadn't made the recommendation? Like, you should do a series on this because whatever. So take a little credit, right? I want 5% of the profits up front, and then I want a commission on the back end. So yeah, are aliens real? Holy crapola. It's like, you're going to think I'm nuts, but yeah, they kind of are, even though I've never really seen one. The little one and I did go to Disney on Ice. This is the second time we went to Disney on Ice. The last time was last March, right around this time that I'm recording. This time it's in early February, day before the Super Bowl. And get there, $20 a park, which is out of this world. You want to talk about out of this world? You're talking about aliens? Aliens must have come up with the price for that parking spot. The show is like maybe 2 hours, and you're going to charge $20 to park. I don't even think it's $20 to park at like MetLife Stadium. Call me cray. Like I used to pay when I would drive, when I worked for Sportsnet New York, I would drive from our condo in Wayne. Is it a condo? Townhouse in Wayne? Not Wayne. Fairfield. I would drive from Fairfield, New Jersey, which is like Essex County, not to Newark, because it was like, that's just, no thank you. It's just a little too much. But going to the next stop. What is that next stop? It's where the Red Bulls play. Because of the H. Whatever that next stop is, it's like not as crowded in terms of like the people that are waiting on the platform. Like you can walk. It's not, you're not just shoulder to shoulder, bump to bump. Like I just can't, I don't know. Maybe I'm claustrophobic. But Harrison, that's, sparks fly. So I'm in my sparks fly era. So I paid $10 and I parked there for like the entire fucking day. This is like, this is 5 years ago, but I guess things shit done changed. No, this was 3 years ago. So 3 years ago I was doing it. And it was $10 to park for like definitely 8 to 9 hours. And you're going to charge me $20 for 2 freaking hours. It's just, that doesn't sit well with me. And it's a small arena, and it's like Trenton. It's at the Cure Insurance Arena in Trenton. It's not like, it's not the Link or whatever. It's not MSG. It's freaking Trenton Cure Insurance Arena. So I hard disagree with the $20 to park. And lo and behold, the seats, nothing's changed there. Still very insanely uncomfortable. And of course, got my head yet again about the fact that I'm kind of a bigger dude. Not like that big, but big enough that like I always pick, whenever I get seats for anything with my daughter at an event, I always make sure to pick the end of the aisle so that, because if she has to go to the bathroom, we can just go in and out. We don't have to bother anyone. And so I sit at the end, and of course there's a mother with her little son who's like maybe 2 or 3, and like, I can't see the big man. And I was just like, I know, dude. I'm crouching, I'm slouching, I'm trying to get down, but like my lumbar is about to give out. So on top of that, people are just constantly, I know this show's not for me, so it's like I don't I don't really care that much, but like constantly in the stairs area, like on the steps and like just looking and trying to find it's like no one can find their seat or they can't. It's just like, I don't just go, look, turn. Excuse me, go. Why you got to stand there for so long? So didn't catch a ton of the show. She wanted, so the first half was Frozen. So they had Sven the reindeer. No, is it a reindeer? Yeah, it's a reindeer. It's a big reindeer. And it's two guys in a costume, and it's like I would love to know what the ass end is earning on that. What is the ass end of Sven making? Because that is just, you're just smelling farts, dude. I mean, you are just inhaling methane. Like I can't. That's tough, but maybe it pays well. Good benefits, great perks. They did an amazing job, though. Thoroughly impressed with their ability to maneuver around the rink. Pretty cool. And then Kristoff was doing flips and shit. That was pretty baller. Kristoff he definitely was feeling himself. And then intermission, she had to go to the bathroom. She wanted to get a drink and some food and all that good stuff, and even a collectible souvenir. She wanted a light up bubble machine. This light up bubble machine, $42 for bubbles. I regret everything. I regret everything I've ever done in my life, because it's like, to know that I could have just been like, kids like bubbles. Like, who's the guy that came up with the bubble machine? And who is the absolute ruthless savage that decided to slap $42 retail suggested price on that shit? Unbelievable. So I was like, yeah, it's $42, and that shit, you are going to break that, and it's going to stop working within a week, maybe within a day. Like, I just can't see that lasting. So I'm trying to buy souvenirs and collectibles. I mean, like, that last, something that you will cherish and hold on to throughout your childhood and maybe even beyond. So I ended up getting her what I thought was a stuffed cheetah. It turns out it's actually a jaguar. I think this is some kind of spirit animal. It's been a while since I've seen Encanto, but it's from Encanto. And she got ice cream that are those balls that I think if you listen to the episode where Father's Day we went to Trenton Thunder, she got these ice cream that are balls. Just little balls. It reminds me of like astronaut food or like astronaut ice cream. Just like it, like ice cream in its most unappetizing form. Just like, this looks like styrofoam filling or styrofoam peanuts, something that you would put in packaging. And I'm going to put this down my gullet. Okay. I also got a rainbow slushie. I was like, you know what? These opportunities are few and far between. So how about it, Hoss? So I got her the rainbow slushie, and her lips ended up getting all blue, and she looked like she had drowned. In movies and TV shows, when they show like a dead person who drowned, they're all like blue. It came in an Olaf head, so she loved that, and I have to admit, it's a pretty nice, neat little concept. But yeah, she looked like an addict. She looked like a druggie. Kind of reminded me of Tyrone Biggums from the Chappelle Show. I was just like, can I get some more of that rainbow slushie? Yeah, scratching her neck. Yeah, second half was Encanto. Pretty awesome. At one point they lit a ring. They lit a ring of fire on the ice, which I thought was pretty baller. A ring of fire. A ring of fire. A ring of fire. Reminds me, sometimes Johnny Cash will come up on the playlist from Spotify on shuffle mode, where it's I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere. And my daughter goes, do has he really been everywhere? Like he's been everywhere? Like I don't think he's been everywhere, but I think he's saying he's been in a lot of places. Has he ever been to Disney on Ice in Trenton? I don't know. I've been everywhere, man. So lots of aerobatics, aerial moves, flying through the air. That's like the thing, right? With the silks and the what's nots. So quite the show. The volume was excruciatingly loud, where it's gotten to the point now where everything's just too loud. It's just too loud. Everything's too loud. Like there are times after I drop off my daughter at school, I'll crank up the volume in the car, and I'll go in for the day, and then when I get back in the car, it blows me away. Which is like, oh my fucking, how the fuck was I listening to this so loud? But it was painful. It does not need to be that loud. It does not, and I get it. Like I think there was a point where they probably did not have the volume loud enough, and people were talking over it because people are constantly talking the whole time. And so I imagine like they have to rise above that, but like you don't need to get to the point where it's like there's blood and there's leakage. Okay. It was tough though, because it was the day before the Super Bowl, and so the Eagles fans were out in full force. And I was in a mood, so I was like, "Not now, man, not now." Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get your ass beat by a bunch of Eagles fans before Disney on Ice. It's like a movie. I did see one Giants fan, so that was comforting. I was just like, we're not all extinct. Afterwards, we went to the Route 1 Diner, storied, iconic, historic dining establishment on Route 1. Although I guess it's like Route 1. It's not like the official Route 1. Is it like the Route 1 business route or something like that? It's like the offshoot, whatever. Yeah. The last time that I went to the Route 1 Diner was after my 10-year high school reunion in 2008, October 2008. I went with my date to the Winter Cotillion junior year, a prominent member of the track and field team, and our Greek buddy. So Greek. And, we went to the Route 1 Diner, and I ended up using my Diners Club card that was given to me by work. At the time, I was working with Playboy, and for whatever reason, to cover your T&Es, travel and expenses budget, they used Diners Club. And it was like we all got something to eat and something to drink, and I think all told it was like $20 or something like that. Insanely low price. And I paid with the Diners Club card. I remember feeling so guilty about it too. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to expose me. They're going to take me down. They're going to sully my name. I don't remember if I submitted it right away. I was like, I can't submit this expense, but then can I just pay it off, or is that going to set off a red flag? Really spiraled after that. But that was the last time I was in Route 1 Diner. I ended up getting a patty melt on steroids. It was fried egg and bacon on top, in addition to your usual patty melt. And I was pretty dang hungry, so I scarfed that down. My daughter was from the moment we got in the booth was asking, where are the crayons? And then she asked our server, do you have any crayons? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll go ask. And I don't think he asked, because every time she was asking about it nonstop, and every time he came to the table, she'd be like, crayons. Like, did you ask him about the crayons? Did you mention the crayons? Slide into the conversation something about crayons. So Interesting that they don't have crayons. I mean, I don't know what the going price for crayons is. I understand diners are a little tight on cash flow, but why give paper mats to put your plate on if you're not going to give a crayon? Just a thought. The guy at the cash register did us a solid because they have the huge. Well, first of all, there was a huge. They put together 2 tables to the left of us, and for a family of like 6 or 8, and I could like sense. I don't know. I give off pretty bad vibes as it is, so I'm not one to talk, but it just felt like there was an air of like, there's there's something going on here. What it is ain't exactly clear. But yeah, definitely felt like there was something going on. Like there was a husband and wife with like a boy and a girl, or 2 boys. Looks like 2 teens, maybe a couple, boy and a girl, either in high school or in college, and then maybe the grandmother and the grandfather. And it just felt, I don't know if it was tense. I think they started to. I say I'm not that Italian, but I do talk with my hands a lot. And when I talk with my hands, they go haywire. And sometimes they catch certain wires that end up cutting the show short and stopping recording. And then you got to export, and then you got to restart. So anyway, I think I was talking about the guy at the cash register who's going. There's a big case where they have all the desserts. So the cakes, cupcakes, whatnot. And I mean, this is not a spontaneous thing. She had been saying that she had wanted a cupcake from even before we went in the diner. And then we went in the diner. She sees a cupcake. I'm like, okay, we're going to get her a cupcake. The guy was very nice, hard to understand, but very nice, and said, she can have one for free, or, have one. And so he calls over this woman. The woman comes over. She's very gregarious, affable, and was like, kind of asked her, but kind of didn't ask my daughter what she wanted. Like, my daughter has she's not alone in this, but very peculiar about what she likes and what she like. For instance, she's reminded me several times that she likes vanilla ice cream, but she likes chocolate cake and chocolate cupcakes, not vanilla cake, not vanilla cupcake. And she will accept chocolate ice cream with vanilla ice cream. And so this woman is like, you want a cupcake? I'll get you a cupcake. And automatically opens the door and just picks a cupcake and gives it to her and goes, there you go. There you go. Oh, you're going to love it. Whatever. So it was kind of forced upon my daughter. Like the woman didn't say, take your pick. And then my daughter pointed and got her pick of the litter. It was like, you want a cupcake? Oh, I'll get you a cupcake. Here's a cupcake. There's a cupcake. Oh, you'll love it so much. And of course, no, my daughter did not like the cupcake at all, but a very nice gesture. So, and I enjoy diner food. It's kind of my bag, baby. They have those fries that are like those thick steak fries, which it's good. Nice to like mix it up once in a while with the thick fries, the steak fries. I think she wanted a slice of cake, and they gave her a cupcake, and it was the cupcake that she just like was not interested in at all. But I was like, thank you so much. Say thank you. And she's like, all right, thank you. I also had explained tips to her. So she's getting to that point where she's starting to notice a lot more, be more aware of her surroundings and what's going on. And also asking questions that she's probably asked before, but it's like, you don't remember because you were too young. So I had to remind her about what tips are. She's like, well, what's a tip? She's like, well, you already gave money. You're giving money again? I'm like, yeah, it's called gratuity. You're supposed to like give it based on like how well they do. And it's a percentage of the total bill. And, so you give them a little something to let them know they did a good job, because She's just like, well, oh, so I think she's slowly starting to come around on the idea that like what we do costs things. Like she's seen me, and I think this is because I pay with everything with my phone. And I wonder if that has any impact on kids in this digital era where it's like they don't see their parents paying with like taking out their wallet and taking out some cash and giving cash to someone in exchange for goods. They don't see that. They see like, oh, you hold your phone to this thing and it's like, and we're good to go. Like that's all you have to do. Like this didn't cost money. We just had to put our phone to this thing and it beeps and then you're good to go. Like, I wonder if that goes through their minds for a long period of time before they realize, no, like that beep was $56. That beep was $113. They don't see that. So I wonder if they understand the value of money, which money's not going to make a difference anymore. I think I saw that, like, I don't pay attention to the news, but Trump stopped the production of pennies and everyone's like, some people are up in arms about it. And it's like, okay. I mean, in terms of like making wishes and water fountains and good luck, that's going to take a hit. So short luck. So, and then Sunday, I got to go to my friend's place in Hoboken for the Super Bowl. Dropped the daughter off at her mother's and drove up. There were sheets of ice just flying off cars left and right. And they have, when you get on, it's, I take issue with the fact that, I'm glad, ultimately, I guess I'm glad that they have these signs, these digital signs on the highway that say like, clear your car of ice before you go. And it's like, that feels, I understand where you're coming from there, but like, it's too late, dude. Like we're on the highway. That sign needs to be in the parking lot, in my driveway, on the front door as I'm leaving, like in my rear view mirror. Like it can't be when I'm going 80 on the friggin' highway. Like, hey, before you go, clear your car of ice. So it was just, and I've never seen anything like this before though, where it was just like every 5 seconds, it was another big sheet of ice just flying off cars. Luckily I did not get struck by any of the big sheets of ice on the way there. On the way back, I was like, well, it's the next day, it's morning, there was probably some melting. People probably got the message from the highway sign, like cleared their cars of ice. And I got clobbered by a sheet of ice driving back. And there was nothing really I could do because I drove back, they had to go to work, Monday morning. So I got up with them when they got ready for work and I drove back like smooth sailing on my side of the road, fairly decent traffic going the other way, obviously. But it was just like, there was nothing I could do. I saw it I saw it right when it took off from the car. And then just made a huge loud noise. And I closed my eyes for a little bit. And I was like, fuck, I have to replace my windshield. And I opened my eyes and it was good to go. No cracks. But I was like, oh my God, that could have ended my life. So that was coming back. When I got to their place, they have a little liquor store around the corner. So I went there, picked up some Rogue Dead Guy Ale. Very nice. And Modelo, which is having a little bit of a surge. I feel like it's like I feel like I didn't really have I don't remember having my first Modelo, but I do remember starting to have more Modelos in like 2013. There was a place in Hoboken called like the Cantina or something like that. La Cantina or something. It's probably changed ownership and names and brands and formats 1,000 times since then. But remember that they used to have Coronas and Modelos, and I would go Modelo with a Corona with lime. Very good. And the Rogue Dead Guy Ale, though, I'm not allowed to call her my buddy's wife. My gal pal. She's into like death and skulls and whatnot. So I was like, I'm pretty like Dead Guy Ale. You can't go wrong. If it's got a skull on it, she's going to appreciate it. She might not have it, but it's got like a skeleton on it. I thought it was a higher ABV, 6.8% ABV, alcohol by volume, and 40 IBUs with it. And now they got a third one now, 16 SRM. What the fuck does that mean? Standard reference method to specify beer color assessment of wort, measured in a cell of path length with light of wavelength. What the fuck? Oh my God, dude. The Maybach stale. Ooh, okay. Feel free to try that again. Maybach music. Maybach stale. Come on, Neal. Maybach style ale. Huh. Our bold and complex Dead Guy Ale, a Maybach, I'm not saying it again, has been introducing countless beer drinkers to craft beer worldwide for nearly 35 years. Deep honey in color, 16 SRM for you lay folk. This ale offers a rich malty aroma and hearty flavor with notes of caramel and herbal hops. Herbal hops. They shouldn't have done that. The robust, I can't read anymore. The robust malt profile and sweetness are beautifully balanced thanks to the liberal use of hops in our proprietary Pac-Man yeast. Pac-Man? The Pac-Man? Like Pac-Man Jones or like the OG Pac-Man, 1982 in the arcades. Has a wife, eats ghosts. Still as drinkable as ever, Dead Guy Ale remains a timeless favorite. So, whoa, okay. Got a little toffee, not so much nutty, little bitter. The toffee is like, I like the toffee. It's won a ton of awards. Oh my goodness gracious. So I liked it a lot. And the Modelo always hits the spot. I was told I need to defat and hit the beds, as in the tanning beds. So that's pretty standard par for the course. I will always be hefty, wimpy. And I'll always be so pale. Jim Gaffigan made a whole living off of that. I am no Jim Gaff, that's for sure. We ended up watching Severance. My God, Severance season 2, so goddamn good. I think the finale is this Friday, March 21st. But what a goddamn season. We'll see if they have another season, because it just feels like one of those shows where they just like they go all out, and it doesn't feel like a show that's going to go 5 seasons. It feels like a show that goes maybe 3 seasons. Feels like 3 seasons feels right. So love that show. Watch the pregame show. Of course, the pregame show is somehow longer than the game, which is just out of control. My gal pal, works in fashion, was just straight up shitting on everyone for what they were wearing. It doesn't matter who came on the screen. Aaron Andrews, Tom Brady, and understandably, like, I mean, even those who don't work in fashion, the stuff that they put these guys in, like the broadcast team, the suits that they wear on that panel, across the board, Howie Long, Michael Strahan, Jimmy Johnson, Terry Bradshaw, Kurt Menefee. Was it Kurt Menefee? Yeah, used to be James Brown. It's just like, wow, Gronk. What's his name? Jay. Oh my God. I can't remember. But yeah, just tearing everyone limb from limb based on what they were wearing. And my God, what a life to live. So I was like, well, at least I'm not the only one. Like, it's good to know that it's like there are people paid to dress these men, and they're getting their beeholes reamed, hardcore, raked over the coals. So it's good to know that like it doesn't matter what you do or how much you're paid, you are garbage in her eyes. it's just the glasses she wears. They did this weird Jimmy Johnson segment that is just like wild. It was the worst CGI I've ever seen. And it basically showed him as which I didn't know he was like a lineman, offensive lineman for the University of Arkansas. And that's where he played football with Jerry Jones, the guy. He played football with Jerry Jones? No. And Barry Switzer at Arkansas. I thought that Jerry Jones was much older than Jimmy Johnson. I must be getting that wrong. But it's just wild that like Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson, head coach, replaced by his buddy at Arkansas, Barry Switzer. That's just very so insular and incestuous. And he also coached Terry Bradshaw at Louisiana Tech. It's like it really is just the connections you make. It really is. I used to think that all you have to do is work hard. Like get smart, acquire skills, put them in use, and that's how you succeed. But I've learned the hard way that like it really is about the connections. It's just about the relationships you build and you make. And I have not built relationships with people. And I think that's why, my career is where it is. I've not forged relationships in the blacksmith's shop. I'm just like, well, yeah, we work together. We're coworkers. Like I do this, you do that. You keep doing that. I'll keep doing this, and things will be a-okay. Nope, that's not how it works. So really messed that up. So it's just funny, like, because I always thought, I never thought that they were that connected. I was just like, Jerry Jones was an owner, and Jimmy Johnson's over here at the University of Miami, and Barry Switzer's over here at Oklahoma or whatever, and Terry Bradshaw has no relation to Jimmy Johnson. It's just like, nope, they all are very familiar with each other and strongly connected. It's like, okay. And then they asked him, so it seems like you're retired. Like, it's like, why are we doing this for Jimmy Johnson? Feels like he's done. And this is like a look back and an ode to Jimmy Johnson. Like it had all the markings and makings of like, okay, yeah, okay. So this is it. Jimmy Johnson's retiring. And they asked him, so are you retiring? And he's like bawling his eyes out. He's like, we're just taking it one day at a time. And I'm like, hey, buddy. Yeah, nah. That was Fox saying goodbye. So I have a note here. Tom Brady is a skeleton. It is nuts how it's like, it's not gaunt. Like he doesn't look sickly. It's just like, where are your cheeks? Where's your little, I can't pinch your cheeks. And then the highlight of the pregame show, of course, former New York Football Giant, Ring of Honor member, Hall of Famer, All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Michael Strahan. Now part of the, he's been part of the Fox broadcast crew for a while now, ever since he retired and after the 2007 Super Bowl win. Interviewed Saquon Barkley, former New York Giant, who is started with the Philadelphia Eagles this season. Did okay. I think he did okay. Did all right. And they're interviewing each other and not really paying attention. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to listen to it. I'm like, this is torture. And then they're kind of wrapping up. They both were sitting. Now they're on like some kind of ferry boat down in New Orleans, kind of like a carnival floating casino type thing, almost like what you saw in Ozark. So they get up and, they're kind of wrapping up and they're, dapping up and shaking hands or whatever. And then I think like Saquon's holding an Eagles flag and then he hands it to Michael Strahan. And I was like, oh no. No. Please, God, no. Don't do this. Don't do this to me right now. I can't have this happen to me right now. Strahan takes the Eagles flag, waves it, like not like a little wave, like, oh yeah. like waving it back and forth, like the leader, like a captain of the cheerleading squad. And I didn't even hear this. I was already like face down on the couch, like completely like devastated. But apparently he said fly Eagles fly, or chanting fly Eagles fly. And my soul left my body at that moment. And I'm pretty sure there's video of it circulating somewhere on the dark web of me just like laying face down. How's it? It's like, could it get any worse? Yes, it could. Yes, it certainly could. And so I immediately tweeted out, really hope the entire Giants organization just watched Michael Strahan waving an Eagles flag in front of a global audience. That's a humongous middle finger to the Giants organization. We are officially at rock bottom. And then the next day, I found out that my tweet ended up in an article about Giants fans' reactions to Michael Strahan's pregame interview with Saquon Barkley. I mean, what the hell, dude? What the hell? That's hard. That's just hard. And I'm like, the article was about Giants fans being upset with Michael Strahan, and was like, no, I'm not. I'm not upset at Michael Strahan. That's how poorly people think of the Giants organization. Like, they think the Giants organization has this thought pattern. I don't know what they think. I'm not in the building, I can't speak for them, but damn, man. Like, that's just such a gut punch for the franchise to see like an absolute it's a top 3 player in franchise history. Strahan's a top 3 player in franchise history. All-time sack leader. So to have him do that for a division rival while interviewing Saquon Barkley, the guy that got away, that we let get away, and has put on he put on an historic season, and then they end up winning the Super Bowl. So that was a tough day for me. That was a tough day mentally for me, and I got back up and dusted myself off. But yeah, that was tough. They cut to Anne Hathaway at one point wearing an Eagles jersey, and I was like, say what now? Like, I understand Bradley Cooper. Like, I get it. He's well known to be an Eagles fan. He's been an Eagles fan for a while. At least publicly, he's acknowledged that. Anne Hathaway, now you're an Eagles fan? Okay. I had to do some research. She was born in Brooklyn in November of 1982. When she was 6, the family moved to Millburn, New Jersey, which is where she was raised. It's just west of Newark, New Jersey, which is North Jersey, south of Seton Hall. Spent several semesters studying as an English major and poli-sci minor at Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York, before transferring to NYU. So it's like she's been in the New York metropolitan area pretty much her entire childhood. I was like, what's going on here? She's not a Giants or a Jets fan. She's a fucking Eagles fan. And no, it turns out her maternal grandfather was WIPAM Philadelphia radio personality Joe McCauley. So maybe that has a lot to do with it. I don't know. That's like, as far as I could tell, that's her only connection to Philadelphia. So maybe it's like McCauley was bad about it, was all Eagles all the time, and that had rubbed off on her. I guess her and Bradley Cooper are also pretty good friends. So maybe he persuaded her to the dark side. I'm not sure. The scorebug sucked. I can't believe what a move by Fox to debut that scorebug during the Super Bowl. That scorebug was atrocious. I cannot believe. I mean, it was a breakout search during the first quarter of the game in the U.S., and I was astonished that you would take a swing like that with a new scorebug in the Super Bowl and premiere it and debut in the Super Bowl. And it's not like anything groundbreaking. It wasn't anything that was earth shattering. It feels like that's something they probably should have tested out in a small market in preseason and gotten some feedback then, because like, man, to debut it on the world's biggest stage in front of a global audience, hundreds of millions of people. What a move. I don't know. But there's a conspiracy brain part of me that thinks production crews dream this stuff up in the conference room to think like we need to drum up some business, some buzz at the beginning of the game for people to tune in. Let's come up with a really ridiculous score bug. Halftime show is Kendrick Lamar, Samuel L. Jackson dressed up as Uncle Sam. Apparently Serena Williams was there crip walking. I did not think that was Serena Williams at first glance. I was like, what? My buddy was like, oh, it's Serena Williams. I was like, no way. Why would she be there and why would she be crip walking? I didn't mind the halftime. I kind of liked the halftime show. I think people didn't like it. I mean, it's not, in terms of where would I rank it in terms of halftime shows? It's not at the top, but it was not like awful. But yeah, I mean, I guess it wasn't one of the best, but I was entertained. I liked it a lot. I don't remember any of the commercials. I'll be honest. It's been like 6 weeks now. There's not one commercial that I remember from that Super Bowl. So people are asking, did Taylor Swift leave early? I have a feeling they did because they did not cut. It's not like Kelsey was doing much to prompt them to cut to her, but they did not cut to her at all. I don't feel like in the second half. So I think he thinks that she took off early. And then the post game, that stupid Big Dom, dude. Oh, Big Dom. It's very interesting. Some people, it's just like instantly, like people love Big Dom. And it's because he's big and his name is Big Dom. And that's it. And it's just so simple. And that bothers me. But it's so simple for him to just be a big man named Dom. Be Big Dom. That's it. That's all he needs. That's all he needs to appeal to people. It's frustrating, but also good for him. The fact that he has to get his fat face into the frame when they cut to Sirianni being interviewed after the game, like, get out of the frame, dude. I don't even think I know his official title is like head of security, but like that feels like he doesn't normally do that. That feels like that was orchestrated by PR or someone to yet again, like, let's get some more buzz around this post-game interview. Let's just plug Big Dom in there. And even though he doesn't normally do this, let's just have him stand in the background looking all Big Domish. So I was highly critical of that. And then I went off on Brandon Graham for in his post-game interview. Is his wife is just off to the side, like on her phone, like couldn't be. She just did not look, I don't know. She was kind of pissed off or like not into it. But Brandon Graham's standing there, and I criticize him for having one kid on the shoulders and then the other kid is on the ground. I was like, Graham, look at this shit. This is what I'm talking about. The Eagles, like, you're going to care more about your one kid, not the other kid. Why don't you put one kid on one shoulder and the other kid on the other shoulder? If you really love them the same amount of, it's like, I was looking for any excuse to just tear him up. Man, there's a lot here to cover. Whoa. I might have to break this up. Interesting that the shortest month of the year requires 2 parts to do a recap. Oh my God. Well, I'll try and quickly get through this. This is a lot of shit, dude. Oh my God. I might have to move this or move it around, or I don't know. Giving me the ick broke out in search interests during February. And I would imagine I'm going to go on a limb and say I give a lot of people the ick. A lot of ick when it comes to my name and to my brand. I think I first maybe heard about this when I watched Jared Freed's stand-up comedy special on Netflix. I'm 37 and single, I think it's called. He talks about this. He has a whole segment, a whole bit about giving the ick. And he does a very, very good job of taking it down, the ick. So you know what gives me the ick? The ick. The ick gives me the ick. Speak like a grown person, like an adult. Like, I say that, and then I catch myself saying stuff like, don't yuck my yum. So it's just like, it infiltrates and infests my brain and infects me. So I'm sure I'll be saying, give me the ick for the next month now. Great. But yeah, give me the ick. I can only imagine how many people have given the ick to. People are saying, could be a record. And avoidant attachment was a top trending related search. Avoidant attachment is a pattern where individuals struggle to form close and intimate relationships, preferring independence and self-sufficiency, feeling uncomfortable with emotional intimacy and vulnerability. Oh boy. I feel like characteristics of avoidant attachment: difficulty with the intimacy, preference for independence, emotional distance, fear of vulnerability, and difficulty trusting others. I mean, I checked the boxes on a few of those. The difficulty trusting others, I mean, that ultimately didn't do great for the relationship. Put a dent in the relationship, I'll say that. But no, it says it can develop in childhood when an infant or child does not consistently receive the care and attention they need from their primary caregiver. It can lead to the child developing a sense of insecurity and a belief that they cannot rely on others for emotional support. And then to overcome avoidant attachment, self-awareness, therapy, practice vulnerability, and open communication. So I feel like I do most of the time. So I was like, am I avoidant attachment style? Do I have that style? And I took the test on psychology today, and I shit you not, my score, 69. Nice. Which is in the middle, quote unquote. My score shows neither secure nor insecure attachment, which I am sure every one of my ex-girlfriends and my ex-wife is like, retake the test, okay? Let me take the test for you, okay? You insecure as shit, okay? My answer suggests that I exhibit signs of both secure and insecure attachment. I may want to consider my own sense of security and optimism. Anxious attachment style, also known as anxious ambivalent or anxious reoccupied, is another type of insecure attachment characterized by fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, codependent tendencies, and depending on a partner for validation and emotional regulation. So, check. I think I align more with the anxious attachment. I ended up buying Duke Nukem 30th Anniversary World Tour on my Nintendo Switch. And still gets me. I bought it for $2 on the Nintendo Switch, and it's still, come get some. I still love it 30 some odd years later. It's wild. Valentine's Day date ideas and gifts. The top date ideas searched in February: clay. So I think people might be watching Ghost a little too much. Maybe with Demi Moore having a nice little resurgence in the zeitgeist, pop culture with The Substance. Highly recommend. Maybe people think back, oh, what other roles has she been in? Oh, Ghost. Oh, Clay. Oh. I just watched, there was a episode of Victorious where there's like a heat wave. And so they decide to skip school and go down to the beach, and they get locked or blocked in a RV, a van. Everyone except for Ariana Grande's character, Kat. And she ends up, like, she's supposed to go to the bathroom, come right back. Instead, she gets distracted, obviously, and hangs out with a bunch of boys, high school kids, boys, college boys, doing all this weird stuff with them. And then at one point, so they keep intercutting back and forth between the group that's stuck in the van and overheating, like it's 100 and some odd degrees inside the van because there's no AC. And then they cut back to Kat, and she's having the most fun. They cut back to Kat one time, and she's doing the scene from Ghost with the clay and a boy. And I was just like, I don't know if my daughter should be watching this. So I get it, man. Clay, it's like, I'm down, but whoa, interesting. Golf was another one. Painting, movies, and the arcade. I mean, I'm down to paint. I'm down to golf. I'm down for arcade. I'm down for movies. I'm down for all that. Clay, is that like a first date type thing? I don't think that's a first date thing. That feels like we've been together for a while, and I want to show everyone in the room that we still got it. My mother got my daughter Squishmallows for Valentine's Day. Very cool, but very soft. She loves them. And then my gift box came, and it had a long sleeve button down shirt, a white long sleeve button down shirt that had what appeared to be poorly scanned photos of Christmas trees on it. Like not intentionally pixelated, like unintentionally pixelated Christmas trees. She was supposed to give this to me for Christmas, and it didn't arrive because, quote, the Chinese couldn't get their shit together. It's like, why do you keep ordering shit from China? I understand everything's made in China, but you order the most Chinese stuff. The stuff you order is like the most Chinese, like Chinese lettering all over the packaging, all over everything. It's just like there's not like a little made in China, in fine print on the back corner. No, it's just like, this is blatantly, there's no mistaking this. This came from China direct. So she got me that fucking button down shirt with like the blurry pixelated, unintentionally pixelated Christmas trees on it. I was just like, I'm never going to wear this. Like, I guess I wear this at Christmas, and then that's that. Maybe this is like the new tradition. Like, I just wear that every Christmas. A belt that doesn't fit. I mean, it's a nice belt. It's one of those stitched belts that have like the stitching makes it look like kind of Nintendo 8-bit, 16-bit beer cans. Very cool. I already have one of those belts, so I didn't really need another one, but she got me a belt, and of course it doesn't fit because I have the world's weirdest body. Nothing fits. Nothing fits. I don't have a size. My size is ? Parts unknown. So a belt that doesn't fit, weird Christmas shirt from China, and a life straw. And if you're sitting there, you're saying, what the fuck is a life straw? Great question. It is a straw that you use in case of emergency. So say like you're hiking, or you're stuck in your car, or you're in a place where it has an unclean water source, a lake, a pond, a river, creek, babbling brook. You have this tool, device, it's plastic, and you place it in the body of water, and then you can suck up the water and you can drink it, supposedly, because this will filter out all the toxins and metals and whatever, anything that's contaminants. The picture on the box is a picture of a guy drinking directly from a river or a pond with this life straw. She's like, just keep it in your car in case you need it. And I was like, what? In case we like, what? So I was in a really bad mood. I just get in a bad mood on Valentine's Day, when I'm not with someone. I know it's a manufactured holiday. I know it's made up, and I know it's strictly just to push candy sales and to try and give the economy some kind of, bump. I get it. It still bothers me, and I don't know why. And I get so down when I'm not with someone, or when I'm with someone that it's like, I think about the one Valentine's Day when I was unemployed, and, we were living in, what the hell? Allendale, North Jersey. I was just like, I'm so like, this is supposed to be felt like every big special day, I just completely dropped the ball and fumbled the bag. Just like completely fucked it up beyond belief, to the point where it was just like, oh, well, that's going to leave a mark. So this was another one of those Valentine's days where I just got real down. I was just like, ugh, stuck. So I think, and then to get those gifts where it's like, I'm never going to wear this belt. I'm never going to wear this shirt. I'm never going to use this life straw. I have 3 things here that I look at and they do not bring me joy. Like, fuck. But, it's all on how it's all on how you frame it, I guess. So maybe I'm coming around on it, but I was just that combination of those hitting and like not, and knowing like what last year's Valentine's Day was, where it was like, exchanging gifts with my girlfriend and getting cards, and it seemed like things were looking up, and we were about to go on our President's Day weekend trip to Chatham, New York, to stay in the Sugar Shack and go in the hot tub, and to go from that to I have a very awful Christmas shirt from China, a life straw, and a belt that doesn't fit. This is my life. So, SNL had its 50th anniversary. Was pretty excited about that. I rediscovered there's like an SNL, there's a live stream of SNL, classic SNL skits on Peacock that I discovered that I was like, I was binging that and I was like, I could watch this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't think I could watch anything else at this point. Very cool. And then went up to Block Island. Was a good trip. I probably need to refrain from going to Block Island in the winter from now on, because every time I do go to Block Island in the winter, the ferries are canceled. It's just the weather sucks. It's inclement. The waters are too rough, and they end up canceling all their ferries. Like they canceled. I was supposed to come back on that Monday, President's Day. They canceled all the ferries on Monday, and then they canceled all the ferries on Tuesday. And I was like, I actually do need to get back to my apartment. I know, like I have a daughter, and I do need to get back to her. So how the fuck do I get off this island? So we ended up taking an airplane, little plane, little pot. What do they call it? Pond hopper, pond skipper. They don't call it that. So I ended up paying like, $77 one way to take a 10 to 12 minute flight. That was then 20 minutes away when we land from where I parked. So we then had to get in an Uber, which was too small for 4 people. I'm sitting in the front with the knees in the back of my throat. And for the 25 minutes back to where we were parked to go home. So, but it was a good trip. I did weep like a baby at dinner one night, which was unexpected, kind of creeped up on me, caught me off guard. And my one friend, or I thought she was my friend, who has the same last name as me, after that happened, she was like, I don't hate you as much anymore. And I was like, oh, you do hate me. I mean, I assume that most people do hate me, but then it's still a little, it takes your breath away when you hear it. Like, oh, you do hate me. All my suspicions are confirmed. We went out to a very nice dinner at the barn at the Spring House. It's one of Block Island's best kept secrets. Open kitchen, wood-fired grill. And as soon as you step in the barn, you immediately feel welcomed. Sure. I'll say sure. I'm a tough cookie when it comes to that, because I don't feel welcomed anywhere. But I think they did a pretty decent job. I got a black and blue martini. Kettle One vodka, olive juice, 3 blue cheese stuffed olives, cracked black pepper, so good. Sicilian lemonade, I think I got one of these. Casadores Blanco tequila, Springhouse Garden rosemary syrup, limoncello, and fresh squeezed lemon. And then I think I might have actually got one more, an Endless Summer, Deep Eddy grapefruit vodka, muddled grapefruit, soda water, floater of Campari. Oh yeah. We ended up ordering prosciutto bruschetta as an appetizer. That had some hot honey on it, and whipped ricotta. I was eyeing up the barn meatballs because I am a meatball. I don't know if we actually got it. I can't remember, but I think we did. For my main course, I got the baked New England haddock, buttery Ritz cracker topping, roasted potatoes, house vegetables, and then my gal pal, She got the fettuccine Alfredo, which every time she orders it, it's so funny. She's like, she then immediately follows it up by saying, and that's going to go right in the toilet. That's going to go immediately in the toilet. Like she just knows I'm going to eat it and it's just going to go whoosh. What can we end on here? There's a bunch of cool stuff that I was looking at, but it's like, I don't know, dude, it's fine. I think it's fine. Oh, the Trader Joe's incident. I tease it, I gotta tell you. This came at the end of the month. It was a week where my ex-wife, my daughter's mother, had to change some dates around. So I had to take some days. So she decided to take some days from me. And so there was a week where I just didn't have my daughter. And I ended up, I was like, one night I'm going to walk to Trader Joe's to pick up some, not a full grocery run, but I'm going to pick up some stuff here and there just to like get me through the rest of the week. And so I walked there. I'm very hobo chic. I'm wearing what I call my like dock worker hoodie, where it looks like I'm a grizzled guy who's like looking for work and ends up getting a job at the dock. Like that's the coat kind of thing. It's like a plaid with a hood, but it's got buttons, and it just looks like you're either on the lam, on the run, or you're on hard times. Like that's what it looks like. And then sweatpants that are too small for me because they've shrunk, along with hiking boots. And so I walk to Trader Joe's. I'm listening to like This Is Important podcast on my AirPods. I walk in, I'm getting just like, I take my bag. I walked with my bag, took it in, placed all my items in the bag, go to the front and wait in line. I'm next. I put my bag up for the cashier to take it out and ring it up and then put it back in. I'm standing there and I look to my left and there's this very fidgety guy. He's probably like my size, but he's very intense. And like, he's very flustered and frustrated by what's happening at the front of Trader Joe's. Like, not long lines, but like there are a bunch of lanes open and there are a bunch of people getting checked out. And there's you just have to wait, bud. It's not like a crazy long line. He's right behind me. I didn't have a ton of items. He goes, oh, he scoffs, he clicks his tongue. He's obviously he's rushing somewhere, or he feels rushed, or he's just upset with how slow things are going. He tries to go to the next lane, to the lane to the right. There's a young girl there who like maybe high school or college, who he didn't see because she's on the smaller side. And so he just like, as he's about to like cut her, he moves to cut her and then realizes, no, there's someone there. He's like, oh, okay, sorry, go ahead. And so the cashiers, taking items out one by one, ringing them up and putting them back. And maybe I did have 2 bags. That's on me. I think I had 2 bags and I might have filled up both bags. Maybe it was a full grocery run. And so she's, I don't know, like she's taking the items out, bringing them up and putting them back in. This guy says to me, I look at him because he's moving a lot. He's making a lot of like noises, like grunts and whatnot. And so I look over and he goes, "You're really going to make her take all those items out of the bag and put them back in?" And I was just like, what? Like, so I turned and I look at the cashier, the Trader Joe's cashier, like, and I'm looking at her and she just is like, she was looking at me like, you need to do something. And I'm looking at her like, could you say something? Like, we're both looking at each other like, all right, this is where you chime in and you say this. Like, we're both in kind of disbelief that he said it first and foremost, because it's like, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? Is this your first rodeo? This is Trader Joe's, dude. Like, they don't have plastic bags. for them to put it in. There's no more grocery bags. Like we don't do that anymore, dude. Did you just time travel? Did you wake up from a coma? This is how things work now. We had to bring our own bags. I am not parked in the parking lot. Maybe it seems like you did park in the parking lot. Normally, when I come in here and I've parked my car, I usually take the shopping cart from the parking lot. I go around. They say, did you bring bags? I say, no, my bags are in the back of the car. You can put it back in the cart. And if you try to take a basket, you can't take a basket, a tasket. You can't bring a basket to your car. I tried that the first time I went there. I put all my stuff in the basket. I attempted to carry out. He goes, no, you can't take that basket out. You have to leave it here. Did you bring a car? No, we're going to give you a cart. You put all that in the cart. You can take it out. I'm supposed to now do that same spiel to this motherfucker. This asshole who's in a rush to go wherever, to go back to he's either for sure cheating on his wife and she doesn't know, or he has cheated on his wife and she found out. Those are the two options with that guy. That guy's not happily married. If he is happily married, he's married to a fucking cunt of the highest degree, because that guy sucked. And so I'm looking at her. She looked at me. I think she expected me to say something. I expected her to kind of chime in and be like, no, sir, like this is standard procedure. Like I'm supposed to, this is what life is now. This is how grocery stores work now. So she didn't say anything. So I was kind of upset that she didn't chime in and defend me. Like, no, it's fine. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm paid to do. Nope. She just kept doing her thing. Beep, boop. Like that feels like a very Gen Z thing. Like that's a Gen Z thing where it's like, I know you think this concerns me. It doesn't concern me. And it doesn't concern me. Nothing concerns me. Nothing concerns me. And so I'm like, and by that time, too much time has gone by. And it's just like, if I say anything now, it's like not going to mean anything. And so I just ended up shaking my head and paying for my items and carrying my 2 bags. And that was the longest walk home I've ever taken from Trader Joe's, man. I was listening to This Is Important podcast, trying to get over it and get past it. And I couldn't. It was just like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, the thoughts that were going through my head. I've lost all faith in humanity. People suck. Why? Why? Very dark, awful thoughts going through my head on that long walk home, or I was just completely, utterly defeated, deflated. It just all the wind out of my sails. Like any kind of inspiration, motivation that was kind of flickering within my body, extinguished. It was just like, wow, dude, wow. People. I've been saying people don't care, and I get, and people have their own issues and people have their own problems, and I get it. But it just feels like there's just so little, I don't know, compassion. I don't know if that's the word, but, and I'm not saying I'm compassionate, but for fuck's sake, I'm not going to have an outburst because someone brought bags for their grocery items, which is literally what everyone does now. How is that supposed to go differently? I'm supposed to take all the items out of the bag and place them there for her to take? I guess that's what I was supposed to do. I didn't even think about that, because normally I do the cart and then I take the cart out to the car and blah, blah, blah. Have the bags in the cart. I don't know. I guess I am the asshole. Didn't think about that. Whoa, twist. What a twist. But, if murder were legal, I would have stabbed him. I always do that thing after a confrontation or conflict where I don't do anything, where I say I relive it in my head and then I try and do something. And then I was like, I should have done this. And oh, I could have done this. I've been so badass. And one of my ideas was I would have taken out my keys and I would have walked up to him so that we're almost nose to nose. And I'd been like, if murder was legal, I'd kill you. Or if murder was legal, I'd slice your throat open or something like that. Just something that's so stone cold that would make him shit his pants. But of course, no, it never works out that way like it does in your head. I would have tried to step up to him. He would immediately uppercut me into the next galaxy. So, yeah, it's for the best that I didn't do anything I do wonder what the cashier thought. If she, maybe she didn't say anything because she was like, yeah, you did do the wrong thing. You're supposed to take them out and put them there for me to, blah, blah, blah. So I remember she rung me up and gave me the receipt and she said, have a nice day. And I said, thanks. And kind of just, visibly upset, took the receipt and like kind of just slumped away. Oh, God. And then I went to Trader Joe's again. I thought about like, if I run into that dude, like, is he going to come up to him and apologize to me? Because it's like, that is wild to do to a stranger. Like, I don't know. I didn't think it was that egregious, but maybe we're in this new world where it is. I don't know. You're going to make her take everything out and put it back in? I was like, well, what is the other option here, buddy? You want me to, like, can you hold on to these items while I walk back to my apartment, get my car, drive it back and get a cart and like what? Anyway, yeah, that was February. February sucked. And I just have to say this, and I have a theory and it never happened, but why not just have every month be 28 days so that every month is 4 weeks and then we just add another month? You hold a contest, hold a poll, do surveys. What should the new month be named? And that month will be 28 days. Like, why can't we just do that? 13 months, 28 days each. Like, I think they didn't do that originally because they thought 13 was an unlucky number, but it's like, it's working out for Taylor Swift. So I don't know, dude. All right. This episode's fucking sucks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Adios, muchachos. Barf.